Dragons in the skies, fire from the boughs, wisdom flowing fast, ancient temples bow, mountains echo tales, ancestors crying loud, heroes of the past, legends worn proud. On golden silk roads, history unfolds, mystics in the night, secrets they hold, great walls shadow long, warriors in rows, in the courtyard's light, a lotus flower grows. Orchids in the wind, laughter from the light, truth within the sand, sin is bathed in might. Tigers leap through time, rivers serpentine, harmony and chaos living by design. Phoenix rise anew, feathers burning blue, forest whisper soft, mind open and true. Scrolls of hidden art, sages they confide, ticking of the jade, time won't divide. Battles lost and won, emperors do reign, people marching on, dreams still remain. Peasant to the king, stories intertwined, every single soul walking a fine line. Orchids in the wind, laughter from the light, truth within the sand, sin is bathed in might. Tigers leap through time, rivers serpentine, harmony and chaos living by design.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back! I am the dust at the feet of God's servants. Only God is special. Welcome back. I hope you're doing well. It is Monday. I hope you guys had a good Monday. Gave you a little treat for my two viewers. Gave you a little mini stream earlier, and we're back again for a full-length stream. Let's see where this one goes. Alrighty, so let's get crack-a-lackin'. Let me just load up the right thing. Alrighty, yes. Welcome back. Today we are talking about, can you spot a fake messiah? If you were here for yesterday's stream, you'd understand why. I think it's quite important that we understand there's some people out there that aren't there for truth. They are there for some kind of clout, some kind of acknowledgement, some kind of admiration from outside, where they're not looking for God within. I've been given a few messages by someone very recently, literally just got another message a moment ago, where they seem to think that I am being a bit mean. I'm being a bit mean. Well, it's not me being mean, it's me being truthful. If the truth hurts, that's not my fault. That's not my fault. If the truth hurts and gets you into a raging, what do I call it? Raging tirade where you become frothing at the mouth. All I did was spoke the truth, okay? All I did was speak the truth. If I have said something that is truthful, that I am just not buying, if I say that I am not convinced and I want more understanding, if you start going on about how you have an agenda and you're this and you're that and there's a jinn inside you, that's projection. That's coming from you and not from me. So yeah, today we are discussing how to spot a fake messiah. Because there's quite a few people out there who are claiming to be Mahdis, messiahs, whatever, Shivas. And I just think it's important to learn a bit of discernment and try and figure out who is actually talking to you for your best interest and who's talking to you for their own interest. Link is up if anyone wants to come up and have a chat. But yes, that's what we'll be talking about today. Can you spot a fake messiah? What do you think are the telltale signs of a fake messiah? And then alternatively, what are the real signs of the messiah? What are the telltale signs of the actual messiah when he does turn up? Will we recognize him? Will we dismiss him as another charlatan? What will happen? Who knows? Let's discuss this. So it's an open conversation, not a debate. Don't come here with a bunch of scripture trying to destroy my foundations, bruh. I know who I am. I know who God is. I know God is real. nothing you can say is going to destroy any foundations of mine. They're fucking rock solid, okay? They're rock solid. I am who I am, okay? So if you want to come up and have a conversation, and let's see if we could understand each other a bit better, if we can have a good conversation where other people might be able to learn something or be able to take something away from it, great, come on up. If you want to come up here and tell me about scripture and how my book is wrong, even though I don't have a book, then keep it over there. Keep it over there. I've said this before, okay? I've said this a million times before. I am not looking for people to parrot what I say. I am not looking for people to just argue their point without listening, okay? When Jesus would talk, because so it's give the gospel, aka D was just dropping me some messages telling me about how Jesus was sitting with the tax collectors and the something else, basically the sinners. Jesus was sitting with the sinners. Do you think those sinners are sitting there telling Jesus, no, you're wrong, no, God doesn't exist, no, what we're doing is fine, yeah, it's fine, and Jesus is like, okay, that's fine, yeah, okay. Or do you think Jesus is going, no, you're wrong, God is real, the Father and I are one, blah, blah, blah. Jesus is just going to tell the truth, and that truth is going to light up those people around him. It will light them up in regards to the light exposes the demons within people. The light exposes the demons within people. So once the demons are exposed, they need to be eradicated so that the soul is set free. The soul needs to be set free so it can find God. Where the darkness and the shadows are holding that soul, that heart captive, we need to break the hold of the shadows so that the light can shine within them. It's not about going around looking for people to take the light off. It's about finding that light within yourself so you can go share it with others. And if you don't want to do that, then you're not for the spiritual journey. You're not looking for God. You're looking for comfort. So make sure that you're ready to look within yourself if you are going to go down that spiritual journey and try and be the light for other people. Don't steal other people's light. Don't try and destroy other people's beliefs when you don't know what their beliefs are. Don't try and destroy people's beliefs when you don't know what's in their heart. Intellectually, you could work people out very quickly, but what's in their heart, that's a lot harder to find. Sometimes you have to dig deep. Sometimes you gotta dig real deep. But the light is always there in everyone's heart. Everyone's got that light within them because God put it in everyone, okay? But you have to get to it first. And sometimes, like I said, you've got to slay the demons that are binding the heart, that are controlling the heart, that are stopping the light from being shone within itself. So, yeah, I hope this is making sense for you guys, because I want you to understand that it's not just about destroying others. And I'm not here to destroy other people. I am just here to have conversations. Like I've said from day one, I want to have good conversations with people that are looking to grow. I'm not looking for the perfect people, but I want the people that aspire for perfection. You're never going to get perfect. You're never going to become perfect. But you have to aspire for something great. And if you fall down here, that's okay. But if you aspire to be just here, yeah, and you fall down there, you know what I mean? You'd rather aim high. Aim high, try and be the best version of yourself for you, not for anyone else. Like I said, it brings out your own light within yourself that you could then guide yourself and then hopefully guide those around you. You know, you got to lead by example. You got to be the change. But it doesn't mean being a pussy and letting people just talk over you and let them swear at you for 5 to 10 minutes without stopping them. No. Okay, no. There's a line. When you cross that line, the sword comes out, okay? Simple as. The sword will come out if you cross that line. So you better know that when you're here talking to me, I will have a great conversation with you. I will excuse a lot of BS that might come out of your mouth. But as soon as you cross that line, the sword's coming out. The sword's coming out, and I will tell you what you need to hear to kill those freaking demons inside you that are controlling you. Because I'm not here to feed the demons. I'm not here to feed the demons, okay? I'm here to feed the light. So you got to find that light within yourself. I'll destroy the demons if I have to. I don't mind making friends with demons. I don't mind making friends, because the thing is, look, I'm not perfect. I say this all the time. Hey, nearly dropped my light there. I am the devil. Okay, I openly say this because I know I have lust, anger, greed, attachment, and pride within me, and fear. But I don't let it rule me. You know what I mean? So the shadows aren't in control. The shadow's there. I respect it. I admire it. I know what it's there for, and I like. Sometimes it's nice to hang out with different types of people, and some people will have a different shadow where it's not so dominating on others. I think that's the key thing. When the shadow starts dominating on others and trying to put other people down or destroy other people without any kind of semblance of truth, love, compassion, contentment, humility, or hope, the sword comes out. The sword comes out. What can I say? I don't like BS. I don't mind having a little laugh. I don't mind doing any of that. But yeah, as soon as the BS comes out, the sword's coming out. Okay? Remember, there's a line. There's a line. Don't cross that line and you're good. We could chill, have a laugh. You could take the piss out of me. I could take the piss out of you. We're good. But as soon as that line is crossed, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. And it's not going to be me getting into a raging fit where I go frothing in the mouth. I'll just say what I need to say and the demons will expose themselves. That's all that happens. The demons always expose themselves. It's happened a few times on this channel. Last night was a perfect example where literally someone was frothing at the mouth. And after they got off my channel, they went... Well, they were on my... So, okay, I'm going to give a bit of backstory here. Bit of backstory just because it's hilarious. I love God. God is so funny. I love the irony of God. Like, the way God writes his stories are so good. The gentleman that came on last night, he was doing his own stream and he was moaning about someone else, Big Nose. He was moaning about Big Nose's stream, saying, "Oh, I don't want to hang around with these people. They're this, they're that, they're that." Basically, just kind of disowning them. In the evening, he comes on my stream, and one of the things he said is that, oh, people become tribalist, and they get into cliques, and they do this, and they do that. And I was like, cool, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I get it. And I thought, okay, the fact that he's kind of like distancing himself from Big Nose shows that he is trying to be his own independent person and not trying to follow a clique. But after he got off my stream, he went straight over to Big Nose's to complain about me because he knows that Big Nose doesn't really like me. And it was just him going back to his clique. And it's like, bro, please be consistent. Please be consistent. Not for me, for your own sake. Because you say one thing and do another. And it's like, it's absolutely insane. If you don't like cliques, if you don't like cliquey behavior, then don't act like a clique and don't join a clique. There's no clique here. When Damien comes up, I've told him a few times, I've said a few different things to him where I've told him the truth, how it is. I haven't sugarcoated anything, I've just told him the truth, and he comes back. And I appreciate his company, and I like the fact that he could hold a conversation, and it's usually quite light-hearted. But there is no clique here. There's no us versus them. This is just a us. Anyone who wants to come be a part of us can be a part of us. There is no clique. Chris was up here for good 3-4 hours. He was talking over people. He was insulting people. He was constantly doing different things where he was just not being a great guest. And we still carried on trying to accept him. We still tried to give him compassion, love, humility, contentment. Contentment and hope that he would listen. Because we were trying to say, listen, you've got knowledge. We're not trying to big you up. We're not trying to hype you up. We're not trying to butter you up. We're just saying, yes, you've got some knowledge. We're not denying that. However, if we're not asked a specific question in regards to doctrine, and you have then decided to go off on a spiel about doctrine because you think you need to educate us on this doctrine, you're in the wrong place. You could go to Big Nose's channel. I'm sure Big Nose loves it when you come there because A, you're a bit of a personality and it draws attention and he gets more views. And B, you talk down to the Muslims, you talk down to other people, and that's their MO. Their MO is talking down to people. I've seen Big Nose talk down to people. I've seen Lieutenant. Oh my God, Lieutenant really seriously talks down to people. I'm not done talking. Like, fucking hell. It's insane. The way they talk down to people. And there was a situation yesterday where Chris was literally on a roll. He was steamrolling this guy. And he was just going off into his spiel. And he wasn't actually listening to what the person was saying. He wasn't trying to come have a conversation where it's two people talking, you know, with truth, love, compassion, contentment, humility, and hope. It wasn't a conversation like that. It was pure rage and anger. And he's like, no, you're wrong. And the guy's like, look, we don't have to agree. You can believe what you believe. I believe what I believe. Chris is like, no, you need to believe what I believe. And then as soon as the other guy's trying to say something, Lieutenant jumps in and says, yo, don't talk over Chris. He's been polite to you. I'm like, bitch, no he hasn't. No he hasn't. He has been anything but polite. He has been anything but considerate. He's trying to steamroll this guy and trying to destroy his belief and his understanding of life so that, like I said, the Big Nose channel is literally the Dawa channel. It's the Dawa channel for Christians. That's what Big Nose channel is now. It's the Dawa channel for Christians. They use the exact same tactics as the Muslim Dawa teams. They try to use intellectual talking points and scripts to manipulate and to destroy your belief so that they can then install their own beliefs. That is literally it. So that is a clique. That is a group that's got their own agenda. And then, yeah. Apparently I have an agenda. I do have an agenda. But it's truth, love, compassion, contentment, humility, and hope. That I've been straightforward from the beginning. I've also said that I am not a prophet. I am not special. I am nothing. I am the dust at the feet of God's servants. Only God is special. I have claimed to be the devil because I know that I am an asshole sometimes, and I try not to be, but I can be because it's still part of me. I can't deny who I am. But to say I have an agenda of stopping truth just because I won't let you steamroll everybody in a conversation where you're just talking nonsense, where you're contradicting yourself every 2 seconds. I ain't doing anything wrong there. I'm just speaking the truth. And if you get angry enough to froth at the mouth, that just shows that you've got no self-control, you've got no awareness, no consideration, no compassion, no humility. You're just in rage mode. When your ego is hurt. When your ego gets hurt, you go into rage mode. And that's what happened yesterday. And that is a telltale sign of a fake prophet. In my eyes. Maybe you've got a different perspective. Maybe uncontrollable rage is actually a good sign in a prophet. I'd like to hear your explanation to why. I'm sure it'll be interesting. But I may not agree. But that's okay. We could do that here. This is the beautiful thing here. Over here on my channel, where I have my two favorite viewers, we just talk. We don't have to agree with each other at the end of it. But as long as we are listening and trying to understand each other, that's where you start. That's where you got to start. You got to start with truth, love, compassion, contentment, humility, and hope. Oh, and we have someone backstage. I bet it's Damien. Yes, it is. How are you doing, sir?
Huh? Hey, Damon, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you. How are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I've just prepared dinner, so I've just put casserole in the
I was just
oven.
gonna say, is it casserole?
It's a chicken casserole. I'll probably get 3 or 4 days out of that. So I've got 7 pieces of chicken. So that would kind of translate to probably 4 dinners,
Nice.
basically.
Nice. How's your
Yeah.
day been anyway?
Yeah, it was God, it's been so wet and miserable.
Yeah.
So I basically got up. You know, I was saying to you the other night about and I will discuss the topic with you because it's very
Oh
interesting,
yeah,
by the
yeah.
way. Yeah, yeah. What a night last night.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it. It was fun.
yeah, it was fun. I do like Chris. I don't know, there's something about him. He's quite vulnerable, and I see this in him.
No, for sure.
And I think,
Listen, I agree.
yeah,
I'm not saying that he's an evil person. I don't think anyone is pure evil. I think
no,
that some people do have a bit more shadows than others, and some people need to
yeah,
do a bit more work that where they haven't done. But
yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't mean that they're a bad person, and I'm not writing him off. If he
yeah,
wanted to come up at
yeah,
now and be chill and have a conversation, I'd allow him up, and I wouldn't be holding it against him. I'll just be like, cool, it is what it is. He's reflected and he's trying to be better. That's all I ask for. I don't ask for like come here and grovel to me and say, oh please, da man, let me back on. I don't know. It's an open channel. Anyone could come up and have a conversation. The Big Nose thing. Big Nose kicked me off his stream, but he's more than welcome to come up here and have the conversation, because I'm not going to kick him off.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, but yeah.
No, he's not. He's not. He's deluded himself by saying that. Oh, I've forgiven the man. I've forgiven the man. And it's like, bro, you haven't forgiven me. You've just
the man with the holes in his hand.
He hasn't forgiven me. All he's done is ignored the fact that I said some stuff about him, because the only thing he can forgive me for is the fact that I told him once to shut the fuck up. That is it. That's the only time I was like rude to him. I was like, look, dude, shut the fuck up. Let me just talk.
Yeah.
That's the only. And if he's forgiven me for that,
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, what were you saying? You were saying
yeah, no, I didn't.
The weather was.
The
weather was nice.
I don't know. Maybe in your parts of the country.
Well, no, I had a few different parts of weather today. I had a rainbow when I did that earlier stream. So there's a few clouds and the sun. Few clouds and the sun. Then there was a bit of rain. Then there was some hail. Then there was the sun again. Yeah. So I got a variety of weather, but it was still nice. It was a nice little change.
Well, I went for my coffee, and basically there was an issue. I had an issue with a prescription. I didn't realize. Well, I realized yesterday that I'd run out. And I don't know if you get any prescriptions on a regular basis, but
I don't do drugs.
Well, I have to take their cholesterol tablets for my cholesterol. So it's all medic properly.
You don't have to. There's usually. Well, I'm sorry, I know what you're gonna say, but I'll just say my bit, and then I promise I won't interrupt. For the medicine side of things, there's always natural remedies around it. With these chemicals that they put into these drugs, they don't know. The thing is, everybody's body is different, and when they just make a synthetic chemical, because that's what they've done, they made a synthetic chemical that they've then patented, so they can then sell. For them, it's just money making.
Yeah, I was having a conversation today with a friend of mine, Zoe, and she was talking about a medication that she gets. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know the charge for it. Actually, I'm not sure it was the same woman, but the charge for it from the pharmacy side was several hundred, but it only cost actually £9.
There you go.
So I kind of thought there's things, No, I have to just take this. I was under the metabolic. I was under the parts of the issue with my cholesterol comes from my actual health situation. So it creates elevated cholesterol levels. So I was kind of being managed for a good few years. Monitoring it, and then there just came a point. They were saying, Damien, it's at such a level. 4.5 is a good cholesterol level. But mine went up to 7.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and they basically said, once it gets to that level, what happens then is the cholesterol blocks the arteries to the heart. So you're prone, you're not liable, but you have a lot more chance of getting blocked arteries and then end up having a heart attack. Now, but interesting what you said about the alternative. I did try a soya supplement.
Okay.
For a while before I went on them, and it did reduce my levels by about 10% before another test. But I just don't know. It's probably a trust issue with me, and I have been through situations before as a man where I came off medication and I really paid a heavy price. I'm talking about my main medication.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did come off them, and I crashed very quickly because the thing comes back up very quickly. Once it's not being suppressed. So no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, healthy lifestyle. As much as you can.
Yeah, there's always a healthy lifestyle, but I just quickly googled this, and I know you said you ate soya, but soya is high in estrogen.
Soya lecithin it was called.
Okay, I've just had a quick Google of this, and it says eat foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids. And do you know what
Right.
foods are rich in omega-3 fatty acids?
Fish.
Yes, and you had fish twice yesterday, and I said there must be a reason for it.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah,
You're,
so
you're the next Messiah, dad. That's
no, no,
I,
no, that's not me. That's God. That's God lining your life up. I had no access to your life to do anything. That was God
I,
lining it up. But
uh,
He's
yeah.
probably giving you a heads up, saying, "Hey, you do need to
Did I
eat
have
more
fish?
fish."
No, I didn't have fish twice yesterday. I had fish. Oh, I did have fish twice. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah, your mum
And then
made you fish, and then you had
yeah,
that fish sandwich
that fish.
in the morning.
You got very good memory. But you know what I'm
I
saying?
listen to people.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? I really noticed it. You know, I can really stew on things.
Hmm.
You know, things that are really kind of not a major issue, but it can really kind of go on. And I have this thing where it can go over and over in my head. So, like the whole thing, actually, I mean, this is actually, I've just realized something actually just as I end this. It's just come into the point. This, I hadn't thought about it just before I started speaking. You know, I told you about the issue I had at the pizza shop,
Yes.
right? And I stewed in that for days.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I
yeah. And
mean?
then you
And I
finally went
thought,
back and you spoke to the other guy.
and I spoke to the guy. Well, actually, I had the same issue yesterday with the pizza that came with the delivery guy, and I just realized that fucking hell, David, two pizzas, two pizzas.
But the fact that you
Uh,
didn't stew on it last night, the fact that you weren't
I didn't
stewing.
know I did.
Oh, you
No, I
did.
did.
Oh, oh.
That's the point. I kind of managed to park it while I was kind of talking to you.
Mhm.
No, what happened? What happened was I ordered the pizza. What's nothing wrong with the pizza, by the way. So I ordered the pizza, and then when I was speaking to you, the buzzer went, but I had my headphones on.
Mhm.
Okay, so I didn't hear the buzzer. So he rang my phone number,
Yeah.
and now I don't know. I think it's probably raining, maybe. So I answered the phone. He goes, "I'm downstairs with your pizza." Blah 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 blah. So I said, "All right, okay, fine." And as I got up to go to the door, he just kept buzzing the buzzer, even though I'd just answered the phone, so I knew he was there.
Yeah.
And then he came up, and it just had an attitude.
Mhm.
There was just that attitude. And I said to him, "Have you been here before?" He said, "I've been here 4 times before." And I just thought, in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the rush, of everything that was going on, I kind of forgot it what had just happened prior to it, with him at the door.
Mhm.
But once I kind of started to think about it, I just started to, what a prat. I just thought, how dare you come and project anger
It,
onto your customers?
because he's probably just getting paid minimum wage, and because I've done Uber deliveries before. I've done Uber
Yeah.
deliveries, so I know you don't make a lot of money. So your time is precious. So if you
Yeah,
can
I
do
don't think he's. I don't. Yeah, I don't think he's an Uber delivery. I think he's from the. I
from the
mean, he could be. Yeah, I think he's from the company, but
I don't think
um,
most companies don't have their own drivers anymore. They usually use Uber or what's it called?
yeah,
How
actually,
did you order it?
yeah. I ordered over the phone.
Over the phone. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a place I use regularly, and they're like, "Hello, my friend. How are you? 219C. How are you? Yeah, yeah. Oh, you have a good memory. Brilliant, great, great. I wish they'd remember my order, but I kind of, and I always get the same thing. I'm a creature of habit, so I always get the same thing. So basically, he kind of, and then what it was I paid and I gave him a pound tip. I
Mhm.
didn't think in the moment not to tip him.
Mhm.
I was kind of, he arrived early, but it was very quick,
Mhm.
basically, which is kind of a positive thing. But and then he was a short little, these short little grunts with
Mhm.
an attitude, and he basically said, "Take your food in." And I thought, "You're standing on my corridor, on my hall outside my flat door,
Telling me
telling me
what to do. Yeah.
how do you there?" So I kind of didn't clock it at the time, but then the more I thought about it over the night, it played on my kind of head, and I thought I want to send them a text message. My head goes right off into one.
Mhm.
Going in. What I'm going to do. I've got his number. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I was just like, "Oh, David, I'm not very good at letting things go."
It comes
But
with practice. It comes with practice. If you
yeah,
could let the little things go, then the bigger things get
mm,
easier to let go as well. Um, it's just like
yeah,
it's just about
yeah.
empathy. It's about putting yourself in his shoes and just going, okay, it's not personal to you. It's not that he hates you. It's not that he was trying to give you his crap. It's just that he was,
He just did.
yeah, he did, unfortunately. But you can refuse it. That's remember, like I say, you can
Yeah, yeah.
refuse it. You could just say, you could stay in your good mood like you did. You tried to give him a pound tip, and you could have just said, okay, no worries, have a good day. And
Well, I think that's probably the best thing I did because when he goes down the stairs, he'd probably be thinking, kind of going back to that thing when I was telling you when I was in traffic one time and your mom was
yes,
coming
they're
out.
trying to get
Like,
into the thingy. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So kind of, he might go away thinking, "Oh my God, I was really being actually acting the idiot with that customer,
that's it.
and he still gave me a pound too."
Yeah.
So maybe that's the
That's
a,
all you
che-
can do. That's all you can do.
a cheap
Show
cheap lesson for a pound.
all you can do
I
is show
think,
a bit of kindness and hope that
yeah,
people
yeah.
reflect. People won't
Oh
always
yeah,
reflect. People
no, I
won't
know, I
always
know,
reflect. But we
I know.
can't control other people.
Yeah, yeah. I know we don't live in a perfect world, but sometimes I wish we did. I know it wouldn't be as interesting or whatever, but
Exactly. Last night's
uh,
stream would not have happened if we were in a perfect world.
now, do you notice with Chris, and I hope he could be listening, but do you notice when he comes near a point where he's going to lose it, he starts squinting the eyes? You see
Yes.
the
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
goes on
Yeah.
with his eyes?
Yeah.
So there's, and I, it's like that. And I thought, so there's something there. God bless him. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I
Yeah.
mean, so yeah. So
We're all
basically,
works in progress. We're all works in
we're
progress.
all we're all works. We're all there's no Picasso's here, love.
No. Well, no, there's plenty of Picassos. There's plenty of Picassos, but there's no
But not
Michelangelo's
finished.
David.
No, you not finished ones. No Michelangelo. They're still we're works in progress. No, we're totally works in progress.
Yeah.
So no, so I got up this morning. I told you about all this damaged stuff. Do you
Yes,
know what I mean?
the antique stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it is antique, 1930s, but and it's all damaged. So I paid 50 quid for
hmm
the lot of it, 6 lots, and I came out with about 110.
Oh, nice,
Yeah, so about 60 quid profit.
nice, nice.
So,
Easy double
so
up your money.
easily double my money, but I knew what I was doing. Do
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
That this is a very collectible name in
Mm.
China, so I knew what I was doing in that respect. And like you can always depend on in that with that name. And a plate of hers sold for 33,000 in an
Wow.
auction.
Yeah, you
Just a
said yeah,
plate.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought my.
And but that was in mint condition kind of thing, whereas yours were
Oh yeah,
chipped
no,
and
hundred
stuff. Yeah,
percent.
yeah.
Yeah. But it just shows you people have more money than sense. The other, I'm talking about the buyers now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
What I want to, can I think of a lot better things to do with 33,000? Yes,
easily.
go out and feed the homeless. Go out and fucking, and throw it at people who have nothing. That's what I would
Exactly,
do.
exactly.
That of course, that would be that would be covering my own pocket first. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
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 once
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
comfortable,
You cover
then
yourself first, and then you can share
yeah,
what
then
overflows.
yeah.
But
So
with the 33,000, that's a huge amount of money for a
for a place,
plate that you're not
for a
going to
place,
even use. That you're going to just put into a
yeah.
cupboard, and it's just going to collect dust. Like,
Do
I,
you
I,
want to see?
I
Do you
guess
want to
people.
see what it looks like?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I'm just going to do a Google on it.
Oh, on your thingy.
Yeah, well, yeah. I
Uh,
just see because I don't know uh, if
we,
I've ever actually checked it. You know what I mean? So let's see if I can find it. I think it's sold at Sotheby's. I mean, yeah, but they're the kind of people have money. I mean, I'm not going to judge them, but I could think of a lot of better things to do.
yeah, no, for sure. But I think most of these people, they've got so much money that they make like 33,000 in interest in a day or something. You know what?
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely,
one of the.
100%.
It's when you
Yeah,
got that kind of money. When you got that kind of
yeah,
money,
yeah.
I
You
guess
don't
you look
care.
for random things to start collecting.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. What might have been. Yeah, it's anyway. So I can't find it, but
That's
yes,
okay.
I did quite well. I did quite well on that, and then so I posted that. I got up and so the woman I had these two little, they're like little preserve jars,
hmm
with no lids, and one had a big chip on the front, and the other one had a crack.
hmm
So I'd kind of been communicating with her yesterday while I was out and about
hmm
because she'd bought one but hadn't paid for it, and so I was kind of coming back to her, trying to get the payment of 15 quid,
hmm
and then she was said, "Oh, there was another one there," and I said, "Do you mean this one with the chip?" And so we kind of coming. So she took both anyway, and I
Oh,
gave
nice.
her, yeah, I gave her a discount. So I sold the two of them for 20 quid.
Yeah.
So I posted those. Then I went to yeah, life is kind of weird. So I had a bit of a drama over my medication because I'd run out. I didn't. Normally, what happens is you have to send them. Well, you have to recognize when you're running out of your medication. So I get it every 2 months. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I get an inhaler, for asthma and these cholesterol tablets. So you get them 2 months worth, and then when you're coming near the end, the last few days, you have to ring the pharmacy
Mhm.
and let them know, and then they send a request
Mhm.
from to the GP. But I hadn't done that because I didn't. So I was down to my last one yesterday, so I had to deal with that today. So I had to get emergency. There's a thing online with NHS emergency supplies.
Okay, so you don't have to wait like a week or
Yeah,
something for them to get it
yeah,
back from the doctor. Yeah,
yeah,
that's handy.
yeah.
That's handy.
So they gave me 3 days, and you just choose your pharmacy, and you fill in the info, and within a few minutes it's there. You
Chilling.
get you get covered. So I did that, and then I went to the my coffee shop, and it was absolutely so windy, and I had my scarf around my head like a hijab. I didn't care. You know what I mean? Um, so so I had that, and it was so windy and raining. Even though we have heaters outside the cafe,
Yeah, yeah, one of
you
those
know,
red ones that kind of like face
yeah,
down.
yeah,
Yeah,
above your head, and you
yeah,
just
they're
press
not.
the
They're so
button.
good, especially in a beer
Yeah,
garden. If you find a beer garden with those, oh, it's amazing.
yeah, yeah. So
Sit
we
there all
had
night.
that. So, but the issue is there's two heaters there. One only stays on a minute, and you have to keep pressing, and the other one's 5 minutes.
Uh,
So usually I go to the 5 minute one. But the issue today was there's like a windbreaker at the other one.
mhm.
So yeah, so it stops you getting all the wind kind of stuff. So then I met my friend Zoe, and she's the elderly woman. She's got cancer, you know what I mean. But she's not in remission, but they're monitoring her. But she's 72. So, but she's a character. She was in prison for a few years um, for something. I can't remember what it was. Some quite serious
She
stuff.
killed
Anyway.
and ate a man.
No, I think it was. I think it was drug smuggling.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. What's nothing like? I mean, you see her now. She comes over. It's like, hello, love. Boy.
You
Happy
could never
time.
tell that she was a drug mule.
Never judge a book by the cover.
No,
Never judge a book by the cover. You don't know. Everybody has a story. So
exactly.
I was sitting with her. We were talking about cigarettes, and then basically she was having a moment. We have these new people that have taken over the post office. They're from Rajasthan, and
Hmm.
they're so nice.
Hmm. I
There's,
think
I
you
mean,
mentioned them before. They're the ones with the
yeah,
bindi that you.
they're from Pushka.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they're so nice. And every morning when I go in, Raji goes, so Damien, it's Kumbh Mela coming up. Are you going to go to India? So we have a little bit of a conversation, but it's a very nice conversation in the sense of there's something about him that keeps me calm, almost
Hmm.
like the bindi, where I feel like, oh, I'm with somebody who's quite still,
Hmm.
and I'm very aware of to keep the energy level not, you know what I mean? That kind of, you get my point,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So there's something about him that just he kind of he impresses me. So my friend Zoe was basically saying, we were talking about cigarettes, and we were talking about the post office where we got our cigarettes sometimes if we don't get the and she was saying he gave me the wrong cigarettes. I said they're lovely in the post office. And she said he gave me the wrong cigarettes. They were 15 odd pounds. And when I went out, I opened them. I realized that they're the wrong cigarettes. And when I went back
He wouldn't take them back.
initially, and then she had a kind of a thing with him, combo, basically saying, I'd come here for blah blah blah. You don't know who I am. The usual kind of defense
Yeah,
kind of. And then
puffed up her chest.
uh,
Puffed up her chest.
puffed up her chest,
Yeah.
which she was doing today. Actually, she does that for a joke. Basically, when we talk about her criminal records, she goes, "I still have them." so, so basically, he did. He
Change him
first
over.
had said, "Yeah," but first he was saying, "Look, I can't resell them because
Exactly.
they're
That's why I was thinking he was going to refuse. Yeah.
yeah." So first he did, and then she kind of got a bit hoisey with him, and then he did changed them and gave her back the difference cost wise that
Yeah, nice.
as well. So he's out of pocket because he can't sell it. And she wasn't really having it. I said, Zoe, he is out of pocket. He did resolve the issue for you. I know it didn't go exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people, we're not perfect. You know, people make a mistake. He gave you the wrong cigarettes, but it didn't end there. You got your cigarettes. You weren't out of pocket. So I was trying to shift the energy a bit and say, Zoe,
Good man. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
try not to be too harsh.
Because the
But
thing
he's
is,
so, so
he's
lovely.
he's done what he can to try and keep her happy, and he
Yeah,
understands that. Listen, she'll be back here. She's a regular
yeah,
customer, and then
yeah,
she'll be able to keep buying stuff, and she won't get
yeah,
into a fuss. She won't be negative, and she won't go
yeah.
to another shop. So it kind of win-win
Yeah.
if she then keeps going back. If she
Well,
doesn't go
yeah,
back,
she said she's not going back, and
uh,
maybe after today with the combo she might.
good,
You
good,
know
good,
what I
good. Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
'Cause they are lovely in there. I mean, especially this guy. When I go in, I just think, I just go out and I just think, sometimes I can be in my own head. I can have, all the bullshit. Most of the stuff that goes on with me is BS. It's all my own BS in the negative head.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and so I can kind of live in that sometimes. And yeah, I try to pretend it's not going on. I think I just go and get my coffee, get my laundry done. Everything will be fine. Um, so when I kind of in that, when I interact with people like this Rajiv, there's something very reassuring about him. There's something that says to me, Damien, there are lovely lights around the place,
Hmm.
and just keep your spirit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Nice.
they just keep me going. I think I think as I get older, I think as I get older, I look more for those qualities in people. I recognize more
Hmm.
those qualities in people. Now, there's a homeless guy, Robert, who kind
He's the
of
one who drinks, right? You've mentioned
he
him before. He
drinks.
sits on the little post or something. I think you said.
Yeah, yeah.
He sits on like one of those posts or something, or next to.
He
Yeah,
sits,
yeah,
he
yeah. I
sits
remember
in the
him
post. Yeah,
mentioning him. Yeah, you gave him a
he,
tenner or
and
something, I think, or fiver.
I gave him a fiver.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I haven't managed up to a tenner yet.
Well,
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
you just made 60 quid, so.
Well, I just made 60 quid. So I made it, but I think the issue there is I don't want to. I don't. Well, it's funny enough. Zoe he was getting fed up with him
Mhm,
because he come over to there's something very spiritual about. He's very broken, very damaged.
mhm,
But there is something about him that is very humble.
mhm,
Even within whatever's going on with him, there's a humility there. So sometimes he'll come over and he said, "Do you mind me going through the ashtrays?"
mhm, mhm.
You know what I mean? To
Yeah,
take the box from the
yeah.
ashtray. Now I can see Zoe gets a bit annoyed, and sometimes she give in, and sometimes she won't. But it usually will be as a response to what I'm doing with him. You know,
If you're treating him
so
well, then she'll treat him well. If you're.
I kind of feel a bit guilty, like, oh,
Yes, yeah.
Damien's being really nice. You know. So basically, sometimes she said, I bought him this, I bought him that. And if she wants to have a look, we all have our tolerance levels.
Mhm,
You know?
mhm,
So I said to him today, I gave him a cigarette. I said, Robert, I have a pound on the side that was changed from a food delivery. And I said, I'll put it in my bag. I just keep forgetting to do it to give you, but I very rarely have cash
mhm,
in my
mhm.
pocket. I just don't use cash except if I get my haircut or go out to lunch. And he just turned and said, "Oh, thank you, Damien. Thanks very much." And he's very, very, very sweet. There's just the sweetness about it.
That's nice.
So I said, so I had this conversation with today, sat next to Zoe, and I gave him the cigarette. And then Zoe, I think 'cause she felt guilty because I was being so nice, she took out a lottery ticket
Mhm.
that she'd won 3 quid on.
Nice.
And
And she
I
gave
gave
that.
him the lottery
Oh,
ticket
wicked. Yeah.
so he can go in and get the cash on it. Yeah, but I think as you get older, Damon, you just have to become a bit. I don't say you have to be. You don't have. No, nobody has to be anything. But if you don't, here's something interesting. I'm just thinking here in my head now. You can choose. You have free will to be who you want to be, how you want to be, and
100%.
everything. But if you don't, as you get to, for me, it's like with the age thing, if you do go through life completely blinded to everybody, and because you will lose out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think if you don't recognize that kind of,
The
you
humanity
know,
in someone else.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think if you don't kind of see that,
Yeah.
I think you're missing something.
No,
You're
no, for
missing
sure.
something. Yeah.
Like yesterday with Chris, even though I don't want to bring it back to Chris, but yesterday,
Mm.
even though I was
I'll
saying,
bring it back to Chris. I love it. I love it. I love a good old gossip about Chris.
even though I was like giving him the finger back and I was saying, "Oh, bring it," like all that stuff. It's just a way for me to tell him, listen, I'm not scared of your threats. I'm not scared of your words. I'm not scared of the swear words. That doesn't bother me. If you
So
want to
would
do all
you?
that, you're just wasting your energy and time. But there's just still love and compassion. Even though I will punch him if I had
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
if it was a
yeah,
self-defense
yeah, yeah.
situation. Like I've said in a previous story before, where I got into a fight and I was punching the guy, and as I'm punching him,
Yeah,
I'm like, "Why did you do this?" I'm trying to talk to him. I'm hoping that
mm,
he's able to talk to me and I
yeah,
can
yeah,
stop hitting
yeah,
him.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you have to still see the humanity, but it doesn't mean that you let people walk over you
That's
either.
no, 100%. No, absolutely. And I think that's why. I think that's why I'm a bit peed off with that driver yesterday because I felt I was being disrespected.
Uh,
Do you know what I mean?
yes.
And I didn't really challenge him at the time. I
Hmm.
mean, I kind of it'll go off my head, and then I'll deal with it another time. If it comes the next time, I'll say. So I mean, there could be a whole host of reasons why he was like that. He was probably caught in the rain outside. He was thinking he wanted to
That,
get in
that
for a few
that's
seconds out
exactly
of
what I
the
was going to
rain.
say. In that situation, so there's a difference between people trying to take advantage of you or trying to
Mm.
uh, trip you over, and then there's a difference between
I don't think it was,
people who
yeah,
just don't know that they are doing this. They are projecting some
yeah.
kind of
I don't think it was directed at me.
no, because it wasn't
I
personal.
think
He's just a delivery driver. He was just
he
frustrated
was in
with
a bad
something
mood.
else.
He was in a
Yeah,
bad mood for whatever reason. He was in a bad mood.
yeah.
Um, and maybe the customer before him, was mistreated him,
Mm.
and he's just like, I'm gonna,
Could be a
we're
myriad
moving
of reasons. Could be anything, but it wasn't
myriad.
you. But the main point it wasn't you.
But what was funny with Chris yesterday was, do you remember he kind of said, "Well, when I go to Speaker's Corner," I said, "Chris, you live in America.
Yeah.
You don't go
Go
to
to Speaker's
Speaker's
Corner.
Corner." And then I said, because he said, you're picking on me, both of you are targeting me and bullying me. I said, I know the man
Mm,
from Speaker's Corner.
mm.
So I think he had it in his head that we didn't know each other, that we were in two different parts of the world.
No, I think he thought we knew each other and we're friends, and that we are basically. Do you know how like
Oh yeah, he did try to think we were, yeah, he
yeah,
did kind of
he
do that.
thinks that we are working together to do some kind of
You have an
plan,
agenda.
an
He said
agenda.
he said you have an
Yeah,
agenda. He said that, didn't
yeah.
he? Yeah. And I
So
was
he
thinking,
thinks
what?
that we've got some
What
kind of
agenda?
agenda that we're trying to
Mm,
stop him from spreading his
mm.
word. And it's like, no, we don't care if you spread your word on your channel, but when
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
here, we don't want to be taught by you unless we ask you something
yeah.
and then you want to elaborate and tell us
Yeah,
about the
yeah,
text and stuff, then that's
absolutely.
fine. You know,
Yeah,
it's an
yeah.
open conversation. But if you have come here and then you've just started on a spiel, because towards the end, literally, we were talking about drugs, and then he went and talked about the tree and Adam and
Mm.
Eve and reverted it back to the Bible. And I was like, okay, cool. We're using the Bible again. So if we're gonna use the Bible, let's expand on the text that you're
Yeah.
looking at and try and understand it. Because
He,
he even said at the beginning, I asked him, I was like, okay, so God is knows everything. He's like, yeah, God knows everything. I'm like, cool. He knows the past, present, future. Yeah, yeah. And then 5 seconds later, he's like, oh no, where God is in the black hole on the edge next to the light on the event horizon. He doesn't know anything. But then he's also in the sun. And I was just like,
uh,
bro, just answer the simple question: is God outside time and space or inside time and space? If we
mm,
could just elaborate that, I'd have a better understanding where you're coming from. But when you say the Father is in the Son, that
mm.
means, and he was like, the Father is in the Son, and the Father is the Holy Spirit. So the Father, the Holy Spirit, and the Son are all in creation. So if God is in the creation, who's the one running the show behind the scenes?
Well, that's the kind of issue that I have with the Quran, because their thing is, if God created the heaven, God created the earth first and
Hmm.
then turned back to the heavens. And what I was saying recently, actually, in Speaker's Corner was, sorry, was God homeless
No,
before
he
he
was on
created
Earth. He was on Earth. He was
before he
in
created the
creation.
heavens? Right? Is that right? Okay.
So the thing is, if there's a way of understanding it where
Mm,
if Jesus and the Father are one, not literally, but in
No, of course,
spirit,
yeah. In
then
essence,
yeah,
yeah.
then you can have that kind of paradigm play out, and it makes
Mm,
sense. God is outside of time and space. However,
mm.
his spirit can come within creation itself, but it doesn't mean he stops being outside time and space.
Yeah, and it's not really him. See, with the, I think for it makes sense for me, and it is kind of going back to my personal experiences.
Mm,
So I think because when most people of all religions accept there's a soul, that we have a soul,
mm,
and so I try to always go back to the point of where was the soul before you had it. You
mm,
know what I mean? So
mm.
it was already somewhere else
Yeah,
in the other realm, and then it's come down for whatever reason, right? So by the very nature, Jesus would have had a soul, but it would have been, I think of it as a very evolved soul, almost like a Buddha.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? And so I don't know if he'd reincarnated X amount of times, etc. But I just think that his soul would have just been at a level, if we accept that he's the son of, well, the
yeah,
son of
yeah,
God and God's son, you
yeah.
know what I
If we
mean? I'm
go
not
by that
saying
paradigm, then yeah,
we can have that paradigm, I'm not
and
expecting, yeah.
even the Bible says it's the three. It's not just the Son and the Father,
Hmm.
but it's the
The Holy
Father,
Spirit.
but through
Hmm.
the Holy Spirit
Hmm.
came onto the Son. So the Holy Spirit is the intermediary. It's the connection between Father and Son.
Right.
You know
Okay.
what I mean? But the Father's
Hmm.
still separate. He's still above
Yeah.
time and space. He can see everything
Hmm.
playing out as he's planned.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
through this Holy Spirit, he could project or whatever his will onto some human being that is more enlightened because they've got
Yeah.
a enlightened soul. And
Yeah.
that's the way I would see it. And I would go, cool, that makes kind of sense. But when he was like, no, the Father is inside the Son, then I'm like, okay, so you're
Yeah.
saying the Father is inside creation.
Yeah.
And that's what he was trying to justify that God can't see the future. He's trying to say that's why God can't see the future because he's inside the Son. But then I'm like, okay, but now the Son is dead. The Son has gone back up.
Hmm.
That means that the Father's gone back up. So once again,
Yeah.
outside time and space, he would know everything.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, God only knows the past and the present. He doesn't know the future. And I was like, okay.
See, I do struggle with actually. Remind me about the polygamy thing, just for before I forget. After I tell you what I was just going to tell you, because I
Mm-hmm.
want to tell you something about polygamy
Mm-hmm.
in relation to Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of the sometimes when Muslims say because of the Christian belief, believing Jesus is God, how can you kill God?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of thinking the human uh, Jesus was the you and I hear about the stories about Jesus. Have you heard the story about Jesus talking in the cradle?
Yes, yes. That's a Muslim story. And
That's
I think there's a specific
seriously.
gospel that talks about it as well. The infancy gospels, I think, so they're called.
Which
They
is
say
one of
that
the Gnostic Gospels, the infancy Gospel of Thomas.
something like that. Yeah, I've just
Yeah,
heard, I just remember that name someone mentioned to me. But that's not part of the canon.
it's not.
So
It's not. No, no,
yeah,
no,
so
no.
that
They're
most
the ones that
Christians don't
disagree.
accept that as part of
Yeah,
like, oh
yeah,
yeah, he was doing that. But yeah,
yeah.
that is one of the things that they say. Yeah, Jesus
You
could
know,
speak in the cradle.
that reminds me. You know those horror films of what's that with the dolls
Yeah,
and the what's the one I'm trying to think of? There's a name for where these dolls. What is it called? The Wookiee
Chucky.
doll. The Chucky. That's it. The Chucky. The Chucky. When I heard that, I thought that's the Chucker. The Chucker Jesus is the baby. He's like Chucker doll. So, well, something new that came up for me today in relation to the Islam and the three, basically the three type different books was where actually really falls down for Islam in the sense of the prophethood of
Mm,
Muhammad, because in the Old Testament it says um, adultery, about adultery and one man, one woman,
mm,
you don't covet thy neighbor's wife, etc. And that is, I think, is the message through the New Testament as well. I think,
I believe so. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But then Muhammad comes in and says, Allah, God has said you can have up to four wives.
Yes.
So it completely, the whole thing of polygamy that completely contradicts the previous teachings.
Yes, it does.
Unless there's something I'm missing.
Well, from my perspective, the way I see it is the perfect union is one man, one woman.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you want to go towards the
Or,
light,
or Adam and Steve. Or no, I'm
or
joking.
Adam and Steve,
Or
uh,
Adam and Steve. Yeah.
or there is the way where you can try to possibly live a bit more balanced between the light and the dark.
Absolutely.
And
I
I
totally
think
agree.
that's where the polygamy comes in. As long as the polygamy isn't done in the way of lust. So, like I've said previously,
Mm,
like if I was married to someone and then there was another woman who was maybe she lost her husband, she was living alone, she was finding life
yeah,
difficult, she liked my company, and
yeah,
my wife was okay with her. At that
yeah.
point, I would be like, yo, if we marry her, because I can't just take a random woman into the house. You know what I
But
mean?
would you use that argument for number three and number four?
If
You
it
know what I
was
mean? Yeah.
if I had enough money to take care of him and it wasn't a situation of just lustful desire of
Mm,
having four wives, then yes, I would like as
mm,
being me, that is the choice
mm.
I would make because I wouldn't be doing it out of lust. It would be out of compassion. It would be like, okay,
Yeah, yeah, no, no,
take
I
this
get
lady
your,
in.
yeah, I get your reasoning, but I still think, but I mean, yeah,
Obviously,
the
that's
whole
not the
thing
way
with,
that my reasoning is not the way that is practiced. 100%. I know.
yeah,
I get that.
yeah. But it just show, every time I look at a lot of different things in relation to Islam, and uh, I would never have issues with Muslims. You
Mm.
know what I mean? It's very patriarchal. It's all about the man.
Yes, but
You know
then
what I mean?
Christianity is all about the woman.
Is it why?
Yeah, because it's about supporting your wife, taking care of your wife, always being there for your wife, and all the good stuff that the wives want. So Christianity is very matriarchal, and
Do you
Islam is
think,
very patriarchal.
I never thought that before.
Yeah,
Never
but this
came.
is why I say it's about the balance between the two.
Uh,
It's about
I
understanding.
thought
If
I
I
thought
if I was to
Mary.
say to you that orange juice is the only juice you should be drinking, and you shouldn't be
Yeah,
drinking apple juice, you'd be
yeah,
like, but sometimes I like apple juice. You know, some people
absolutely.
like apple.
I started to get to like it
I
actually.
love apple
The new
juice.
thing. Yeah, and Tango. I've
Tango,
made
apple, yes.
an apple mango. It's mango tango.
Oh, I've not heard the mango tango.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the tango mango.
Okay,
I think it's either or is it tango apple. I'm not sure.
well,
But,
I've had the tango apple, and with mango I
right,
usually go for Rubicon, but I haven't seen
right.
tango for
I'm not sure
mango.
if it's a tango apple or tango. No, I think it. No, I'm sure it must be mango because I made a joke about it. I went into my chicken cottage last week and I was saying, what's my choice of drinks? And he came up with mango tango. I said, oh, I fancy me mango tango. But who's this crazy guy?
I'm gonna Google
You
this
know,
now. Tango mango.
yeah, I think I'm
Oh
almost
no, you're right.
sure.
You're right. There is tango mango.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it's a new drink they've brought into the kind of thing.
Yeah, but
Uh,
the analogy was essentially that they're two different flavors. They both got like apple juice and orange juice. They're
yeah,
two
yeah,
different flavors. They
yeah,
both got their own things. Orange juice has got the vitamin C. The apple juice has got, I don't know, more
yeah,
water
yeah,
or something. You know what I mean? Like each one has
yeah,
its own things, but it doesn't
yeah.
mean that there's one that's better than the other. And that's the way I see the religions. They're all different flavors of a way that you
I,
could
yeah,
possibly connect to
I
God.
thought. Yeah, I agree with you. I do agree with you in what you're saying.
Mm.
But I would say, based on the previous scriptures, it's going against the previous scriptures, but in a very direct way.
Uh,
Because if the Old Testament and Christianity, etc., is saying you would only have one, one union, one man, one woman, one.
mm.
I'm going against. I'm
Yeah,
going
you're going
against
against
those.
it.
I'm going against those scriptures. That's the way. So I just say based on that, I'm not saying, I can see a lot of positives in Islam and how, like I said before, I do feel Muslims have are much more heart connected
Hmm.
than non-Muslim people, especially the white middle class people,
Hmm.
But I just don't, and I was watching some debate something today, and they keep saying about, Muhammad being mentioned in the Bible.
Oh.
They're convinced Muhammad is mentioned in the Bible, and we
Hmm.
just don't have the proper text
Hmm.
because the word changed, and it's in the Injil, and we don't have the Injil. But so and they said we don't need to believe, we don't need it
Mm.
because it's it. This
They've got
is
the
what,
Quran, yeah.
yeah, and it's in the, just because it says that we can't, that has to be accepted, and that's it. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And you can, I think under any kind of other situation, the man, where would you accept that kind of premise on anything?
Well, the
You
only
know?
time, see, this is why I said Christianity matriarchal and Islam patriarchal, because it's the father that will set the limits. He will say, the dad will say, "You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. You can't do this. You can't do that."
Yeah, you just you crushed it.
Yeah, so did you, but it's fine. It came back very quick.
Yeah,
Did you hear what I said?
I think, yeah, I think you meant the other way around.
No.
I don't know. If
Christianity matriarchal,
oh
Islam
yeah, yeah. Sorry.
patriarchal.
I thought I had you. I had
Uh,
you. Yeah,
where
yeah,
the patriarch, the dad, is setting down the law. The dad says,
yeah.
"Don't
Yeah.
do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that,"
Mm.
and then mum is saying, "Go, I love you, I love you. You know, you're perfect the way
Yeah.
you are." And
More nurturing.
yes, but the
Yeah,
thing is, you need the balance between the two, because if you just have
yeah,
the mother who's just
yeah, yeah.
nurturing and nurturing and nurturing, I said this
Mm.
to Give the Gospel on my comment section in one of the videos. You end up spoiling your child, where they don't
Mm.
understand the roles and
Yeah,
responsibilities in
yeah,
life and blah blah blah.
yeah. I do agree. Yeah,
But then
yeah,
if you go with dad all the way,
yeah,
you become
yeah,
cold-hearted and you become cynical and you
yeah,
become
yeah, yeah,
hard. So you
yeah,
need the balance between the two. I say this all the time: the light and the
yeah,
dark. The light
yeah.
and the
No,
dark.
no, I totally agree. I totally agree. They're there for a reason,
Mm,
and it's the yin and yang. It's
mm,
basically yin and yang. And I think yes, and that having both, hopefully having, it's not the case in my case, but hopefully having balanced
mm.
male and female role models, i.e., parents, will turn you out to be a balanced overall human being. But I'm sure you probably find examples where we find serial killers who had the best loving parents in the world.
Well,
You know,
actually, they say that
you
most criminals. There's a statistic, I can't remember it exactly, but there was a statistic that said that the probability of a single mother having their child go to prison is a lot higher than a single father, because the
oh,
single
really?
father would set the rules,
Right.
whereas single mother would allow the child to be emotional and do this and do that, and then obviously as they grow older, they
Hmm.
will act out on their emotions and they'll do stupidness. Whereas the other
Right.
one that's been raised by the father would have a bit more of they'll be cold hearted and they'll be like
Hmm.
work, 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 or whatever, but they wouldn't go down the criminal aspect. That's why the balance needs to be in there, because it's like you don't want to just work, work, work. You want to work, 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 and play, 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 and understand your emotions and
Yeah.
create art and enjoy life. But you don't want to do it in a way that you're completely ignorant of cause and effect. You know what I mean?
I was going to call you Maddie there just for a second.
No, 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 no,
Um,
no.
yeah, man, just to tell you that the picture on your thumbnail for tonight's thing
Hmm.
is really eye catching.
Oh, you like it, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Let me go back and have a quick
Yeah, it was.
look at that.
I was trying to be a bit
Yeah,
more creative today, but I was like, but I like simple. I like simple. You know, without
yeah.
the too much
It's a bit Brad Pitty.
Brad Pitty.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
What, like one of his movies or something?
No, he's kind of the middle guy. It has
Oh,
a bit
what?
of a Brad Pitt look about it.
Possibly. I don't know. AI made the
Mm.
picture. AI made the picture, and then I just kind of
Oh,
edited it.
here's a funny story. You might not have seen this today. My feeling was you might not have seen this. Do you know all the AI companies
Mhm.
who make AI
Mhm.
and who make the chips for AI for computers went down really heavily today?
Really?
But like seriously heavily. Hold on, let me see if I can find this story and I'll tell you. So when I read it, I thought, oh, you just cannot trust how you can't foretell. Of course, Chris would think he could foretell everything, but right, let me just see if I can find it. All right, here we go. Chinese, right?
Mhm.
Right, Chinese. Let me have that.
Oh, I think I see
Chinese.
it. Yeah, they've announced a new inexpensive large language model which will probably replace what they're using at the moment. So that's caused a dip in the market.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically the same thing as
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT,
Yeah, but differently
but
done.
but if you read the story of it, it's quite weird. So this guy in China, he saved all these computer chips
Hmm.
over a long period of time, and I think they were called Nevada or chips or something. And I think he's got 50,000.
Wow.
So with these chips, he was able to create this new called DeepSeek
Hmm.
Chinese kind of AI thing,
Hmm.
and it apparently is as good as ChatGPT, etc., all the different ones, whatever's out there, and it's worth 500 billion today off the
Wow.
major tech firms. So
That would have been the one to invest in yesterday. If you put your
that would have
60 quid
been
in that one,
yeah,
woo!
if somebody there might have been somebody in the. Do you know what shorting is?
Yes, yes,
Right. So there could have been somebody in the know and made the money on the way down.
yes. Could have done, yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I tried to short a little bit once, but I was never that brave because there's no stop unless you've got stop losses set in place.
Mm.
But you could really just,
It's essentially
yeah,
gambling. It's essentially gambling,
already
and
of course, of course, it's
and
money.
just like
Yeah,
gambling, they say with stocks, don't invest something that you don't
yeah,
have. Like only
yeah, yeah. No,
if
absolutely,
you
yeah,
only have
yeah,
spare cash, that's when you start investing, where you're okay to
yeah.
lose it.
It's okay. It's not
Yeah.
going to be a big stress to
I,
you. I
I'm
lost. Yeah.
I was just gonna say I'm shocked with that news because I've been talking about AI for the last few days where I've said that
Mm.
I'm sick and tired of just seeing you said it as well with all these AI videos on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. You just don't know. Yeah.
And then I saw there's this channel I watch called Corridor where they're filmmakers, and
Right.
they were talking about how AI is kind of overrunning the market, especially on YouTube at the moment, where people
Yes,
aren't
yeah,
actually
I've seen
creating
that.
content.
That's original. It's
Yeah,
all AI created. I've
yeah.
seen a few bits around.
And a lot of it is
Um, yeah,
misinformation because all they've done is
yeah,
just taken sensational stories which aren't true. Because
mm,
this channel that I watched, they did this really funny video where they made a fake version of Keanu Reeves in a store stopping a
right,
robbery. Someone pulls
okay,
out a gun on Keanu Reeves and he kind of tackles him and then breaks his neck or something.
yeah,
But they
yeah,
made a little joke video out of that, and
yeah,
they posted it on their video, which is like, "Hey, look, we do special effects." So it was kind
yeah.
of
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah.
but people will take that and they will then create AI audio on top of it and
Mm,
make a news report and say, "Oh my god."
that's the
It's just
problem. That
absolute.
really is the problem. Yeah, and I think the first really big AI where I thought, oh my god, that is just awesome,
Mm,
but not in a, it's awesome, but it's not good awesome. It's
mm.
worrying awesome. Was the one of Tom Cruise? Did you see
Yes,
that?
yes, 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 yes. I
Right.
think it was these guys again. I
I
think they did
kind of
Tom Cruise.
when you said it, I thought, oh, that sounds like the Tom Cruise people. So yeah, and he walks into a room and falls over and gets up and starts laughing, and then he's playing golf. And I thought that's a bit worrying. But did you see the story about the woman in the UK, the 77-year-old woman who was scammed?
No.
Oh no, that was really so. So basically, this 77-year-old woman, a gay woman,
Mm,
yeah. She's obviously lonely, whatever, which is totally fine. And so she reaches out through some website or something to somebody, and this girl gets in touch with her, and then she says, "Look, I need to see who you are because you could be just anybody, or
uh,
the whole thing." So next minute, the girl sends her video saying, "Hi Marjorie, it's me. I'm working on an oil rig." And the girl is like really attractive in her mid 30s,
mm-hmm.
and she sends quite a few different videos from a few different kind of scenes, so to speak. But it wasn't a real
It
person;
was
it was
all AI.
AI.
Oh man.
Now that's the real. Well, no, she didn't get overly. From what I remember, she didn't lose a lot of money, but she lost a few thousand.
That's
But
plenty. That's a lot of money. That is a lot.
yeah, yeah.
There are horror stories where people lose like their entire life savings, lose
That's what
housing.
I'm. Yeah,
But
that's why I kind of minimize it
yeah,
in
yeah.
front of saying
But
it's
it's
not
still like,
like
especially
yeah,
for the older generation where they
yeah,
may not be
yeah,
working anymore. She's 77. She's
yeah,
out of work, and that's part of her
yeah,
life savings. And maybe
yeah, yeah,
maybe she didn't have that much. Maybe she had 10,000, and that 2,000 was,
Absolutely, yeah,
you know, it.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. And I think she sent 5,000. I think over a period of time she got about 5,000
Oh, that's
to
horrible. Now,
whoever.
these, especially right now as well, I've been seeing there's a lot of, there's a lot of AI YouTube videos, the adverts that come up where they've got AI people talking about, hey, if you want to make more money, just come and join us,
Yeah.
and we'll teach you about cryptocurrency. And that, once again, it's a scam. It's all
All
AI
right.
based. No
Okay.
one's giving their real face. No one's giving their real
Hmm.
face because they're all scared because they'll get caught. So they're using the
Do
AI to promote these scams, and then YouTube kind of allows it because.
do you use Twitter?
Yes and no. I used to use Twitter. I haven't used it in a little while, but sometimes I'll do pop on there every once in a while.
I've seen all these videos come up funny in the last week, and they're so obviously AI,
Hmm.
and it's basically rangers, park rangers, trying to look like they're saving a tiger or a lion.
Hmm.
But you can tell by the colors, just the whole kind of thing of the lions, that it's fake.
It's all AI.
It's a bit like, you remember that film something of Pi,
Life of Pi.
like Pi. That's the one with the lion, isn't it, and the
I
boy?
think it's a
Yeah,
tiger on the boat.
right.
Or
So
was it maybe a
yeah,
lion? Let me just double
yeah.
check.
No, I think it's a tiger. It's a tiger. It's
Yeah,
stripes. Yeah, stripes. Tigers has
I have the
stripes,
stripes.
doesn't it?
Yes, yes, yeah. It was a tiger on the boat. Yes.
Just for clarification. So it was that kind of thing. But all of a sudden, all of these videos, like short clips, just
Mm.
started to appear. And I thought, God, are all these lions just happen to be floating, or tigers just happen to be floating around? And you got the rangers going up, trying to, maybe they've had an injury or something, and then they're taking them in somewhere, they're healing them, fixing them. Now, I think it might have been an AI video for an animal charity or something, trying to raise money for, which is totally fine. But
Mhm.
once you go into AI and you just don't know what you're looking at,
No, no. It could just be a scam. It could be a scam. You don't know if it's real people actually helping real animals, or if it's just someone who's just
absolutely,
like.
well, yeah, absolutely, I never thought of that actually. That's true. You know what I mean? It could be Chris behind it all saying,
Oh,
um,
oh,
"Oh,
we got
that's your
Geisha
that's
as well.
Gusha." Yeah, yeah. Hi, Gusha.
Hey, buddy. Sorry,
Hello, how are you?
I didn't see you pop up. How you doing? You good? Well, you said you're ill.
I'm good. Yeah, I got suddenly. Oh, is my mic all right
Yeah,
this time,
yeah.
man?
It's beautiful, beautiful at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Probably the wrong word to describe him, but yeah, it's good.
No, it's beautiful
Yeah,
for me
it's
because
good. Yeah,
I use the word beautiful because
yeah,
when I have to strain to listen, because I like to listen
yeah,
to what people are saying.
absolutely.
Like you were saying, oh, you remember the details about the stories you told me a couple of days ago, and I'm like, yeah, because I'm trying to listen. I want to understand what you're saying.
I have to say you're a very good listener. And you are. I won't
I
go
try
on
to be.
about it, but you are. I wish I had that. I wish I had that ability for
Patience.
certain, but I'm not. I'm a waffler. I love to waffle. I love to waffle.
Trust
But
me,
maybe that's
I
a
could waffle too. I
yeah,
could waffle too. It's just
yeah,
sometimes I like to give other people a chance to say what they have to say because I know what I know.
yeah,
I don't know what
yeah,
you
yeah,
know. And when I can hear Geisha perfectly, I'm like beautiful, beautiful. I don't have to
yeah,
work so hard to figure out what he's saying because I can actually hear him.
yeah. It's
Um,
all about the audio.
Yeah, I managed
yes.
to get the hang of StreamYard.
Sorry, what was that?
StreamYard. I managed to get the hang of StreamYard. Had
Oh,
to
you got the hang
tweak
of the
through
streamer.
the settings.
Nice. What's your little
Yeah.
picture this time? It looks like the devil with someone burning in front of him.
Yes, yes, yeah, a bit. But this today, Damien wasn't here yesterday when me and we were playing the
Oh
playing
yeah,
the
that.
game.
Yes, yeah.
Movement was that was
What were
really
you?
tricky, man.
What were you doing?
Really tricky. You want to magnify, literally like what's that called? You know those scientific microscopes
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so hard. Those ones that
Yeah,
you can.
I don't want to call it scientific, but yeah, it's pretty. It's just this little thing. Oh, I knocked out my. Uh,
Comedy Central.
let me see if I can fix this quickly. Sorry, ladies and gents. You guys carry on talking about the camera or whatever you want.
I've just noticed somebody else's live as well as we talk.
Big Nose or
No,
Chris?
yeah,
No,
yeah,
no, no.
yeah, Chris. Let me see what. Yeah,
That's okay. I'm sure he's gonna be. He could have come up here and talked to us if it's gonna be about us, but it is what it is. It'll be interesting to watch later, unless he takes it down. And I was trying my best not to clip yesterday's video. You know where he starts frothing at the mouth.
yeah.
I was trying my best not to clip it because I really didn't want to embarrass him. But at the same time, I was like, no, if he refuses to reflect, if he's saying that he's not going to change unless God makes him change, then I'm like,
Mm.
okay, at that point, I have to do what I can to kind of get him to reflect and see
I,
how
di- I
he
did,
was.
I did find that quite concerning.
Find it what, sorry?
I did find that quite concerning.
Oh, the way he was acting.
No, not his behavior, but the way all of a sudden he was frothing at the mouth.
Yeah, he was very angry at that point. Very angry. And
I don't think he can. I think with Chris, there's an autopilot aspect with him.
yes.
And I don't think he can help it. I don't think he means it. I think there's like something just takes over and because sorry, after I left you last night,
You went over to Big
I went
Noses.
I went up to Big Noses, and the funny thing was, sorry, after that,
It's okay.
yeah, Big Nose had another prophet on his channel who thought he
Yes,
was a
yes,
prophet.
yes, yeah. Or a messenger. He wasn't a prophet, he was a messenger.
Messenger, what the
Messenger.
difference I don't know about, yeah. So he had a messenger on,
Yeah.
and of course, within seconds, Mehdi's on, um, doing his thing with him, and it was just the most funniest thing. And then the other guy was quite interesting to listen to. He didn't show his face, but he was much calmer. And
Yes.
the way Mehdi leans into the camera when he tries to make a point.
Yes, yes. And I thought that was disgusting behavior from Lieutenant, where she was telling that guy that, oh,
Mm,
Chris is talking to you politely, and I was like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Don't
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
lie. Don't.
So sorry, did you watch it today?
No, last night after I got off stream, I replayed
You
it.
went and watched that section,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I ended
Not
up
the
watching a
whole lot.
bit, but I was like,
Yeah.
I
You didn't watch the whole lot. You wouldn't have
no,
watched the whole
no,
stream. No,
no.
you would have just watched the bit like me for Chris. The highlights.
Essentially, yeah. Well, it was interesting that Big Nose said to him, "Oh, he hasn't given up yet." I'm like, "Bitch, I'm never giving up. I never
Mm.
fucking die. Okay, I am gonna be me, and I'm gonna keep doing what I want to do, regardless of what you people think. Okay, I am never giving
Oh,
up."
was was Big Nose in the stream
When Chris went on,
before?
yeah,
All right, and then left the stream.
yes,
Then Chris
yes.
then Nose left the stream.
Yes, and then Chris started talking down to the other guy, and then Lieutenant
Right.
jumped in when the guy was trying to say to Chris, "Listen, you can believe what you want to believe. I'm not stopping you from
Mm.
believing that, but I don't have to believe what you believe." And Chris is like,
Absolutely,
"No, you have to." No,
yeah.
he doesn't.
I was watching. That was so funny. Yeah,
Chris is contradicting his own
yeah.
statement.
Yeah, no, yeah.
If it's the Mahdi, he would be following the Quran.
But but Geisha, what I find funny, Geisha, is he'd be mid conversation, mid sentence, and he said,
Yeah.
"Listen, my grandfather, you know, my grandfather,
My grandfather.
who's grandfather? My grandfather Muhammad and Khadija." I'm like, well, I mean, how can you really take that seriously? You know what I mean? Once he goes there in his head about that, you can't. You just can't. God bless him.
Mm.
And I do mean that from the bottom of whatever I've left of my heart. I thought I'd humor him yesterday by showing him my real, um, because he commented a bit on my backdrop. So
Mhm.
I thought I'll just kind of go come into a little bit of a level with him and say, no, here, look at the dishes here, Chris, in the back. I live like a pig. And I think he actually said, I thought I struggle getting the dishes on, and he said the same thing.
Oh, did he? I
Yeah,
must have missed that bit. Yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah, sometimes I'm bad with cleaning and the dishes." So there is what I find with him is there is a part of him that wants to connect, but you just can't get him past that autopilot of
Yes.
needing to be right on about the script. I think the scriptural stuff is all his defense thing of that's his armory to go his go to.
Yeah,
So
that's his armor essentially. That's his
that's
armor
his
to
armory.
protect himself. Is like, oh, forget it. I don't want to be too personable. I don't want to expose myself
Too
or who I
vulnerable,
am.
yeah, no, whole yeah.
Let
But
me. Mm,
when he does go there a little bit, he kind of when you see a little bit and you kind of think, oh, he's actually,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's hard work. But it's hard work. All the other stuff is just hard work.
You-
So what he's saying, and let me just tell you the headline here.
I think it's. I just saw it quickly. It was oh, YouTube religious debaters are in trouble. Lol.
Yeah, yeah,
So apparently yesterday he wanted to come up here and do religious debates, and now he says that they're in trouble.
right. So
This
I
is what I
don't
mean. It's so
know.
contradictory. It's like, how can you say religious debaters are in trouble when you're one of these religious debaters?
Tell me this. Is he's live? But has he got a link?
Yeah, I can send it. What you can you not open up his thing, or can you not find it?
No, what I was just saying for something for a giggle. Should we all go in together? Can we come in as a freebie?
And say, hey, Chris.
Yeah.
And I don't think he doesn't typically drop a link in chat. What he does is that he
Yeah.
asks people to email him, and then he'll email them
Yeah.
the link. And to
Mm.
be honest, like, I don't want to go and start trouble. I'm
Yeah.
never looking for trouble. It's just unfortunately an aspect
trouble
of who I
finds
am.
me.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just chaos is always around me. I can't
Yeah.
help it. It is what it is.
Yeah. No, totally. No, I think the man, you're pretty chilled.
No,
No, you are. No, you are. You are very chilled.
it's
You are
because
very chilled.
if I release the demon inside and I am literally like Chris, where I'm protecting myself constantly and I don't
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
the inner me try and come out,
Yeah. No,
it doesn't
totally.
lead for good conversations. It doesn't lead
But I
to
don't know
connecting with
your
people.
inner you. It's just like you were kind of going back to what you were saying earlier on. I just that inner you is that you're just a part of you. It's we all have it as a survival to protect ourselves if something in a need be situation.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
like, "Don't my head!" Yeah, okay. No, sorry. Hail Mary, full of grace. Don't my head! You know what I mean? I think we all have that
It's the balance.
side.
It's the balance.
That's all I'm saying. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we all have. Look, we all want to sail. We all want to be nice people. We all want to go through the day smiley and go, "Isn't it a lovely day?" As we're being winded and blown by winds and thunder across the road, but
Yeah.
life is still wonderful. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think most people are of a pretty kind of positive. Well, I am. I think I've become more. You know, I don't.
Mm.
I don't think
It's a work in progress, like
it's
all of us.
yeah, it is a work in progress, and I think there's just no point in, getting upset about. Yeah, but I do think with Chris, I think I recognize there's something. I recognize something. You know,
Oh, we got another guest. Oh my
with the
god.
Chris.
Oh, Muslim debater. He came on yesterday, but he didn't stay long.
You
He
know,
disappeared.
yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Muslim debater. You speak English?
Or Arabic.
You're
Listen,
brave.
You're muted at the moment.
Listen, أو كيب.
Okay. I'm gonna bring you down. Drop a message in the private chat when you're ready to talk, and then I'll bring you up.
Yeah.
What did he say? Did he speak?
No, he didn't say anything. He was stuck on mute. But I said to him, like, I've brought him down. I've taken him off stage. But when he's ready to talk,
Somebody spoke
Geisha
when he
spoke.
came on. Was that Geisha? Was that Geisha or something?
Yeah.
Through what? I'm a bit confused now.
What were you saying when? I think Geisha was just saying hello to him. I think that's all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I heard a voice as he came on. I heard it. I heard a voice.
Say hello. Yes.
Mm.
Hello.
Yeah.
Shall I do an angry? Shall I do an angry stream one day?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Move on.
We need to prepare our energy to make sure that we kind of have enough physical strength. We've had a good rest the night before. Do you know what I mean? We're recharged.
No,
Yeah.
I could do it.
no,
I could do it now. Listen. Listen, we're gonna do a fucking angry stream today. I'm sick and tired of these motherfucking assholes who are constantly coming up on stream and just talking their shit without listening to other people. You have
That's
to
me.
fucking listen. Well, not you. Well, you do that sometimes, but you're cognizant of it. I'm talking about the other people who aren't cognizant of it. The
Right.
religious debaters. The fucking. You don't need a good night's sleep to get into that mood. You could do it easily.
I thought it was funny when you told Chris yesterday you were Sikh. He almost didn't know where to go with it. He had to quickly jump in, but whatever. But it was like, oh, or you know what I mean?
What did he came in with? Jesus. Sikhs believe in Jesus according to their book.
Yeah, 6. I remember that.
Really? I've never heard that. Never heard of that. We never talk in the Sikh book. It never talks about any other prophets or anything like that. It doesn't mention Moses. It doesn't mention it mentions Muhammad, but not. It mentions Muhammad because it mentions him because it's the time of place. So Sikhism came after Islam, and while Islam was constantly going around killing people and trying to get them to convert by the sword, Sikhism then turned up as a warrior people to be the defense line. Yes, the defense line to stop Islam from coming.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You mean Umayyad, Abbasid, medieval Islam, right?
Yeah, they would call themselves the Mughals or something like that, the Moguls. So they would.
Mughals. Yeah, I want to talk about Mughals.
Yeah.
You know Akbar the Great.
Yes.
Akbar doesn't mean greatest. The great. It doesn't make any sense. Why would his name be called Akbar? The greatest, the great, because according to mainstream Muslims, well, the exotericists, I'll call. If Muslim debater heard this, he need to think why does it that according to the Shiites and the Zaydis, they even the Ismailis claim that Ali had sons, 3 sons. So one of them is Ali Akbar, Hussein Akbar, and then Ali Ali Hassan or something. So if Akbar is an attribute for only Allah, then why did Ali use Akbar to his son? Because according to traditional Muslim exegetes, Ibn Kathir, I think Abu Sufyan, no, not Abu Sufyan, sorry, wrong guy. Ahmed ibn Hanbal, yeah, that's much later, but they all claim that the attribute to Allah, you can't really give yourself that without Abdullah, as in slave, or Abdullah of Allah. Then why did Ali say Ali Akbar to one of his sons, gave Ali Akbar to Imam Ali, give Ali Akbar? That's one of the question. And why does Akbar why doesn't Akbar just call himself Kabir? Like there's a Sikh guy called Kabir, right? Sikh one, I think.
I don't think he's a Sikh guy. Well, maybe the thing is with the Sikhs, with the Sikhs, I don't know much about the Muslim history. I'm sorry. I only know bits and pieces of like the Mughals and Akbar and stuff like that. I really wouldn't know about all this other stuff.
It was a convert from.
But yes, Sikhism was. It came around after Hinduism and after Islam already came, and it wasn't a religion straight away. It was just a bunch of people following a spiritual teacher. And after a bit of time, after the 10th Guru, they then decided to call themselves Sikhs and have an identity of their own. But that was over like 300 years. No, I wouldn't say 300. I think it would be about 200 or 180. Over 180 years, they then created the idea of now we are called Sikhs, and that's when people would have converted from, say, Islam or Hinduism, and then they may have kept their old name, but they would have been classed as Sikhs. So a lot of Sikhs are literally ex-Muslims or ex-Hindus, because those are the only those are the only people there at the time, Muslims and Hindus. And then when the spiritual teacher came, they went, "Oh, cool! You know what? You seem like you know what you're talking about. We'll follow you," and that ended up creating Sikhism.
Sorry, what area are you talking about?
This is in Punjab.
Oh, this is in Punjab.
Yeah.
Okay.
It started in Talwandi. That's where the first guru was born. That was in that's actually modern day Pakistan now. So this is one of the contentions of the Sikh people, where they get annoyed at people like Indira Gandhi, and when they make movies portraying them as bad people, it's like, no, the Sikhs got fucked over by the British,
Right.
by the Indians, by the Pakistani.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
they got
The
messed
red.
around by everyone in that aspect. So when they see a movie that's portraying them as like the bad guys, they're like, no, you're distorting history. So yeah, I get the annoyance with that, but it's not that serious anymore. I don't think. I hope not. Anyway.
um, yeah, the Mughals were really barbaric people.
Are
Yeah.
they? Where are they from? The Mongols? Is it Mongolia?
No, no,
No,
no.
Uzbekistan, Central Asia,
Sorry, we're from where?
Uzbekistan.
Timors,
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. Right.
Uzbekistan,
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Bukhara, the origin of all those evil and shite,
Uh,
in
I'll
my opinion.
I'll show you a couple of images that were made by the Sikhs of what the Mughals were doing, trying to force people to convert. So this happened years ago. Present, share screen.
I'm gonna have to go in a second. No, I'm not going permanently. I just have to go and
Do something
mix
and come back.
my castro. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. No, as you go do that while I load this up, and
Right. I need to get to the chicken to the top so it goes brown. Do you know what I mean? It only goes crispy at the top.
it gets crispy. I thought it gets crispy at the bottom. Interesting.
No, because I have all the vegetables in it, so it needs to be on the top for it to brown. Otherwise, it'd just be the. And I like that the crispy skin. You know.
So in this picture here, they are splitting him in half with a saw because he
Oh.
refused to convert. By Matidas, that's the guy's name. If you wanted to research about him, got sawed in half. You've got
Sorry,
this guy here.
refused
They refused to
to
convert to Islam
something.
from these moguls. This guy is he's sitting on a hot plate, and they're pouring hot oil over him because he refused to convert. Here's another one of that same guy. This was actually one of the gurus, Guru Arjan, that they did this to. There's another one. Oh, this one here. This is. I don't know if you can see that clearly. Let's see if we can get a bigger picture.
With 2 wheels.
Yeah, so it's 2 wheels, one with spikes and the other one with the person attached to it.
Already, okay.
And they would just spin it around slowly and say, "Are you going to convert? Are you going to convert?" And yep. There was also this guy here. He was scalped alive. They cut off his. They said that they were going to cut his hair or something, and he said, "Yeah, then take it all off. If you're going to cut my hair off, if you're going to cut my hair, because with Sikhs they have to grow the hair long."
Yeah.
He was like, "If you're going to cut my hair off, take my scalp off," because he refused to convert to Islam.
Did you ever? Were you Sikh? Have you been practicing Sikh in the past, Saman?
No, I've never been a practicing Sikh, but I
You
respected
never,
and understood part of the history, and
you never wore the turban?
I did wear the turban, but it wasn't because I was practicing. It was more because my parents kind of were like, "Oh, you need to do this because that's what we do," and I was like, "Okay, I'll do it until I'm 18, and then at 18."
Yeah.
Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm sorry. Share this tab instead. I've been talking about these pictures and you couldn't even see them.
No, I don't want to see the traumatizing pictures.
They're cartoon pictures, so it's not too bad. This guy here, they said to him that we're going to cut you from joint to joint if you don't convert to Islam.
Really?
And he said, "Okay, I'm not going to convert." And they went, "All right, cool." And they were about to cut off his hand, and he went, "No, no, 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 no. You said that if I refuse, you're going to cut me from joint to joint. So don't just cut off my hand. Start with each individual joint of the fingers and do the job properly. Do what you said you're going to do." And the guy who's sitting there, you kind of see his facial expression. He's like, "Fuck, this guy's for real." And he had to then cut him. And he didn't want to do it because obviously when they see someone with this much conviction, they
Yeah,
start
yeah, yeah.
realizing that wait, no God's with this guy.
But sorry, Dylan.
Yeah.
So are you talking about 400 years ago?
Yes. Yeah. This would have
Because
been
that's
three, 400 years ago.
yeah. So because Sikhism is I think is about 400 years
I
old,
think
isn't
it's
it?
about 320 years old.
Mm,
This was one where I
right.
said they scalped the guy because you
And
said
it's not that old, is it? Really? I mean, I knew it was quite a recent-ish, but I wasn't sure of the exact timeline. So you're only 320.
yeah, yeah, and
So what would that be? 1700?
about that, yes, yeah.
Mm,
So
interesting.
it's a very young religion, but it
Mm.
doesn't take away from the fact that it's a religion.
Oh, no, 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 yeah.
But the Muslims don't accept it because they say that no, Prophet Muhammad was the last one with the revelation, and there will be no prophets after him. He's the seal of the prophets. That's their justification to then
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead and do this because they're like, well, no, you must be with the devil. It's like
yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
projecting.
projecting. Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
projecting.
I like to argue. Okay, this is why I look at all these sources, looking at Islam. So spent literally 2 months looking at it in my free time, and it's an interesting um like a set of contradictions within like mainstream Islam. Okay,
I'll come back in a second.
Yeah, go
okay,
stir your
all right,
pot.
no worries. Then. Oh, I'll just summarize quickly. So, um, I'm not going to talk about Muhammad. I'm not going to talk about Ali. I'm not going to talk about his companions. That we don't know because the
Mm,
first problem with mainstream Islam is that it was the canonization, the codifications of the central text,
mm,
um, what's that called? The Quran and the Hadith, the inconsistent, the lot of account, the very inconsistent,
mm,
the the hadith corpus is very suspect because they're talking about conflict against whom, and then they say everyone in the hadith corpus who are speaking the isnad as in chain of transmissions are Muslims. That's a big red flag to me.
yes,
Big
yes.
red flag, massive big red flag. And if everyone's a Muslim, then why there's conflict in there's multiple narrators conflict.
Hmm.
They have one hadith talking about Muhammad had the sexual power of 13 men, super sexual prophet, and made sex with 9 wives in one night.
Yeah.
Supposedly, they heard it from a companion, and apparently this companion was picking at him
Mm,
at night. And we'll get this heinous lies, and then you have this hadith by so-called Arabian and um, respected scholars of both the Umayyad and Abbasid era. So when I'm talking about Umayyad Abbasid,
you.
I'm talking about the 9th century
Hmm.
onwards till 11th century. So these two dynasties were they didn't change much in terms of scholarly work, scholarly traditions, and since they moved, the only differences is between the madhabs, or they call fiqh schools or jurisprudence schools. They call it. That's Sunni Islam. In Shia Islam, they have the same problem. They have different hadith corpuses,
Hmm.
but they all unified under I don't want to do a Aladdin reference, but Al Jafar,
Jafar.
basically
Yeah, yeah.
Jafar, yes, the Hadith corpus. His his venerated a bit like Moses ben Maimon from Judaism. That's the only difference. Jafar is a bit like Moses ben Maimon, only in Shia 12. Sorry, they have 7 imam and 12 imam Shiaism. Yeah, those ones.
Mm.
And then you have hadith corpus that are canonized. Let's
I'm
say
sorry, you
200
using these word terms that I've not heard of. What does corpus mean?
corpus, like uh, collections of
Okay,
like
cool.
writings, and imagine the Mishnah.
I
Mishnah,
don't know what
like
Mishnah is.
no worries. These are more
If
specialist
Mishnah
terms.
and corpus just mean collection, I understand. If that's all it means, then
Okay,
I understand. But
religious collections, yeah,
cool,
that's
cool,
more
cool.
better term. Religious written collections and so-called sayings and recordings. It's very suspect is because looking at what the Oxford University academics, they helped me with the Patricia Crona, Joshua Little, for first of all. They are very suspect of the hadith corpuses is because they have contradictory dates about when Islam completed,
Mhm,
when Muslims started to be significant, not the majority, but a minority significant in the Middle East. They have tons and tons of contradictions. Some people, some of the French, very tiny groups called the Quranists or Quraniyun, they call it, they argue that all these are made because of sultans, Umayyads, and also even funnier, they argue that the Church of the East actually paid certain pagans to do it. So I don't know exactly the history, but
So,
that's a theory.
so you
So
so
yeah,
just to get something straight, you said that one of the reasons that you don't like the Islamic corpus, I learned that new word, the Islamic
this, yeah.
doctrines with the hadiths and stuff is because they were written by Muslims, right?
No. It's not the Muslims. It's they're written by relativists, moral relativists, and supposed uh, Muslims by Hadith standards, but not Muslims by the Quran standard.
Okay, no, that's fine. But it's just because I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, would you feel the same about the Christian stuff as well, though? Because
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
yeah.
So the Trinitarian doctrines are very different to the Unitarian doctrine. Same with the rabbinical doctrines, the rabbinical hierarchy, Sanhedrins is very different to the Karaite, Karim,
Mhm.
um, Judaism sect, right? Um, the,
Okay.
the fu- the the irony is the mainstream Islam call themselves Orthodox Islam,
Hmm.
and Christianity, Trinitarianism is considered orthodox. Yet the history is marred by revisionist historical guides and also marred with very suspicious
Do you want?
analogues and dialogues.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's just because a lot of this is lost on me because I don't know.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's just because I don't have the knowledge on these books to understand exactly what you mean.
No, no worries.
But I
I'll
was gonna.
simplify.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say what would be good is to get you on here with Chris and let you two have a little chat. I think that would have been really good. I should have done that
I
yesterday.
think Chris is more, in a way, he's more specialist in what went wrong with Christianity, maybe even Islam, but I don't know for certain. But I would love to speak to Chris about this. But what I'm scared about Chris is, I think we may agree, is that Chris gets extremely defensive because he's afraid that people will take him out of context. This is
Mhm.
what I think. He is worried people take him out of context, and he is very defensive. Sorry, very protective with his
It's funny though
line
because
of.
he takes people out of context. He takes everyone else out
Yeah,
of context.
exactly. That's the biggest irony.
Yeah, that's it. Irony. I was just gonna say I love the irony of life. It's so funny. It's awesome.
Yeah.
This is why I
And
don't typically get into an angry mood. It's just the fact that I'm too busy laughing at life. I'm just like, oh, life is so good.
yeah, it's so weird. And I personally laugh at individuals who have a moral absolutism, or like
Hmm, hmm.
morality came from Christianity, morality came from hardline Islam, morality came from God's chosen people. I won't name them. Or morality came from Buddha. What they say, morality came from Buddha. Even worse,
Mm.
the Chinese Buddhists. Oh yeah, I argue that Japanese Buddhism is actually one of the worst form of Buddhism, relatively
Hmm.
worst version of Buddhism. I'll
Okay.
argue.
I'll have to take your
I,
word on that. I honestly don't know enough,
yeah.
but it's fine.
Because
I just wanted to
sorry,
ask you a quick question. Sorry again, Geisha. It's just
sure.
I
Yeah.
just want to figure out what is your end goal in this? What is your desire from this little journey that you're on?
Journey. I used to subscribe to non-theism, right?
Correct. Yes, I
But
remember you doing the.
I'm starting. I already doubted that because the foundations of non-theism came more so from fringe occult groups
Mhm,
that I realized are untrustworthy.
mhm,
Um, so now I'm looking at deism in a way.
mhm, mhm.
Deism.
So
So
your goal is just to look for truth. That's what you're trying
truth,
to do.
yes,
Okay.
universal truth. I think God is the keeper. No, no, no. It's like an archmage of like all the truth, but he hides it because now I believe that truth in its pure essence, we can't.
Can't
We
handle it.
really can't
We can't.
handle it
No, we can't. No.
in the natural state. We have to train ourselves, meditation or rebirth, I call it. Not physical material rebirth. I'm
No.
talking about
Spiritual.
meditative rebirth,
Yes. Yeah.
spiritual rebirth. I agree with this idea. You can spiritually die, then get reborn,
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I
and
believe that too. Well, not spiritually die. It's just more of a breaking down and rebuilding rather than it because dying is kind of like absolute gone kind of thing. So I don't like that
yes,
term. I like the breakdown and rebuild. But yeah, I agree with you. So you're willing to go through that kind of madness, potential madness?
yeah, potential traffic jams and hiccups and oppositions, opponents. Well, I already have opponents. Well, it's people my age group. They
Mhm,
don't understand me. They like mock me.
mhm.
On Discord they say like, oh, you sound interesting. Then they get angry and then they say, well, technically you sound like a charlatan and con artist. Are you a new prophet or
Uh,
something?
yeah.
Sounds
Man,
like no. Sounds like,
promote prophet. I don't
heard about
promote prophet.
charlatan.
I told them
Charlatan.
Charlatan.
I told them
Um,
if you think that spirituality is about ritualism or some about seeking validation from your fellow humans or your parents, then you're dead wrong. I said
Yes.
you're
that's
dead
great. That's
wrong.
great.
You're shooting from the hip. It's not just shooting from the hip. Sorry, you're
You're shooting
trying to be
blindly.
like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger and says, "Ah, get to the chopper." Imagine you're the Terminator, but you're not. You're just made of clay or
Mm.
mud.
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
no, I agree with the ritualism. I think it doesn't actually lead to any kind of spiritual growth. It just gets you into a routine which kind of gives you comfort, but it doesn't actually
Yeah,
let you
that's true.
walk towards the truth. The truth doesn't come from ritualistic behavior or just a bunch of knowledge or education. It comes from
I
the
agree.
journey. It comes from the journey itself, and that's why I say,
The
like,
journey.
yeah, that's why. Since I started this channel, I've said the journey is truth, love, compassion, contentment, humility, and hope. It's a hard journey. Treating people when they are rude to you, nice, trying to do all these things will challenge you and make you self-reflect more in these situations. So, for example, what Damien said earlier, where he had that guy who came over yesterday with the pizza, he was in a bad mood, and Damien kind of still tried to be nice to him, gave him a tip and everything like that, and he still felt shitty about it, but he's reflected on it and he's tried to think about how maybe the other guy's got other issues. It wasn't anything personal to him. Do you know what I mean? It's only when you do that kind of thinking, where you start putting yourself in other people's shoes and you start thinking of the bigger picture, that you start seeing the bigger picture, start seeing the truth, because you're not in your lust, anger, greed, attachment, pride, and fear. So you're not narrow vision. You start opening up your vision to the wider thing. That's why I say the righteous path. But it's up to anyone else if they think that there's another way, if they think they can get
True,
to
true,
the
true.
truth. But
Well, I used to think that there's another way to liberation is that through video games. Video games, but
explain
that
that to me.
did
Explain
not.
that to me.
I'll explain. So yesterday I talked about
StarCraft.
did like really silly project on the side, like somehow got me into developing well for StarCraft, Blizzard, right?
Hmm.
But after that, my parents, actually they were really upfront with me that they don't want me to always play video games. They want me to be uh, study well, get a good job, get a accountancy job, get a finance job.
Mm.
That's not, I don't see myself being a financial analyst or anything. I don't. I love technology. I love physics. I love ragdolling and call it, and
You like what?
um
Sorry, ragdoll.
ragdolling. You know
Oh, ragdoll,
ragdolls.
ragdoll. Yes, okay,
Yeah,
ragdoll simulations. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ragdoll simulations.
Mm.
Is this better?
Much better,
Yeah,
Closer to
much
the
yeah,
mic.
better. Mm.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So what made me look past video games? I think Damien would be interested in what I have to say. Is that I think that video games is more of a comforter, more of like how I say, just me time, like excuse for me time, more time for you to relax, not think too much. But fortunately, because I played, I basically masqueraded a lot of my gameplay session as homework, so my parents didn't really yell home about that. But there's a really old game I really loved. It's called I have no mouth. I have no mouth and I must scream.
Okay.
It's a really old game. It's based off a very short novella, by the guy called I think Patrick something.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So Patrick. Oh yeah, not Big Man, not American Psycho. Uh, so it talks about AI, like this was before the Matrix. This was
Mm.
in 1980s, 84 ish. Um, it was talking about a nuclear holocaust
Mm.
occurred on Earth, and one of the there's multiple survivors, but they were only survived because the overmind, the head computer, um, uh, a bit like Skynet, but before Terminator,
Mm.
um, keep them alive and try to torture them and actually try to educate them about the harms humanity has done to the earth. The only reason why the AI computer did nuclear bomb because they realized that humans are too sectarian, too um monopolistic. Didn't you
Mm.
say selfish?
Mm.
The computer, I'll just spoil it for you because it's a really old game. The computer's reasoning behind why he tortured individuals because he saw human history reflected on that we tortured each other, we traumatized each other, and we were doing the survival of fittest for so long, and want the computer was confused why individuals under so much trauma still had elements of hope trying to escape the really bad fate, really terrible fate about to die, etc. Right? So the computer doesn't understand that. It's basically like a psychology game. I found it
Mm.
interesting because I did not. That's one game I did not relate to any of the characters.
Mm.
None of the characters was hero, anti-hero, or villain.
Mm.
Well, the computers
The
were
computer or
villain,
villain,
but
yeah.
but the the funny thing is, it completely changed the way I perceive society, perceive technology in a sense.
Mm.
I saw computers more of like mirror, mirror to how humanity is doing. Like the software programmer input the code and it receive some feedback,
Mm.
like a loop
Mm.
back. That's that is determined by the actions of the software developer or by the player, in this case me.
Mm.
So I loved it because I had a decision, a life or death for these individuals,
Mm.
and
Mm.
I was like the arbiter, right? I love
Mm.
that because
Mm.
it
That's a cool
showed that
concept. I like that.
the computer actually was my ally, even though we were rivals. Because the overmind, I mean the head megamind computer, needed my permission to get them off because I need to play their story.
Mm.
To it's like I'm a judge. I have to judgment day them. basically.
Okay.
It felt like some religious experience, apparently, looking back.
So that's what
Uh,
got you into the spiritual journey aspect.
yeah, that was a spiritual journey. I didn't understand that. I had to go back during COVID to play that game or watch documentary. Sorry, no, not documentary, but there's to Andrew something, I forgot his name, but he has a Simpson character, and he did a brilliant analysis, over 2 hours long, on this one game.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was so deep, and I didn't know, because all I knew, I thought it was just a horror game about just these are figment of the imagination. In reality, these people are hallucinating. I used to believe these are people trying to um, because I was brought into the idea that these were simulations of the dreams or the what happened in the past.
Mhm.
So I thought these were just like figments. Then the YouTuber convinced me these are not figments. These are partially real, but also not real. You get what I mean? In between fiction and non-fiction, and that made me research dreams.
Mhm.
Uh, dreams like then I realized that dreams are also fictional but also real at the same time, so
Mhm.
that was interesting. And the funny thing, I did not to look at dreams from Isaac Asimov, even though I loved iRobot. I
Yeah,
read the
he's the
book.
guy who made the rules or something, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
rules are like do AI dream of electric sheep, etc. But
Yeah.
that one was a really boring book, in my opinion. I'll explain
I,
why quickly. It just reiterated a lot of scientists, academics, logical synthesis of computers, and it's too complicated. I don't even want to go through with it. And
it's cool. It's cool. You don't
what
have to.
I
You don't have to go through the whole thing. It's just interesting to know where where your aspirations come from and where you're trying to head, because
yeah,
obviously it's a.
yeah, the funny thing,
Mhm.
I have a very strange interpretations of a lot of numerous video games. I love Hideo Kojima's like Metal Gear games,
Mhm.
Metal Gear Solid. I have weird theories about why Solid Snake does this and why he hides in a Balkan to the peekaboo and that, and why Raiden was introduced and it was like a suspension of disbelief. Why not Solidus Lake? Why is Metal Gear Solid 3? It's oh sorry 3. Yes, 3 was what? Why is it Raiden? We don't like Raiden. We don't know who he is, and I kind of understand where Hideo and his team were going forward. Is they wanted the player to not think of themselves as a player, but think of themselves as the surroundings in the game. Think of like CCTV,
Mhm.
because in Metal Gear Solid, you don't really control most of the characters because everything is predetermined. The tight corridors, everything is like all determined. Your actions are already destined for that. But I think a lot of video games in the past, in the 80s and 90s, had a lot of philosophical and moral lessons that were really deep. And it was only later on, when I started playing multiplayer games like in the summer holidays at Easter, that I realized how video games changed so much these years. And yeah, I don't fault them for it, because like under capitalism you have to mass produce and you have to sell, you have to get sense.
Yeah,
um
it
platform.
destroys the art of the game. I'm just gonna share a quick video
So,
based on something you just said, where the paths are already determined. And I literally just saw this the other day. Oh, well, I think it was today, yesterday or today. I saw this, and it just reminded me of what you just said. Let's just speed it up a little bit.
My good.
If that's true, that could mean you were part of this.
Just a way if you can read good
There we go.
and why you make this. You've already much of an oracle about
There we go.
or reject it. Candy?
That's Neo talking to the
You
Oracle.
already know if I'm going to take it.
Wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't,
But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it.
That's it. That's essentially it. Because you said that the moves in the game are already predetermined. So when you're playing the game where the moves are already predetermined, you're not trying to change the choice. You're trying to understand the choice and the story that's being laid out in front of you. So I thought that was a nice little reflection on that, if that made sense to you.
I see. So the choice is already determined in a way. Is
Yes.
it because of your perspective?
Well, so I've talked about how free will is multifaceted, but there's also the timeline you're in. In the timeline you're in, you're making choices, and those choices are kind of set in the path you're taking, and you just kind of understand why you're making these choices and why things happen, and then you can kind of figure out other things. But that's part of the journey. It's all part of the journey. You got to start somewhere, and you got to start with, why am I making the choices that I'm making? Hence the self-reflection. Honestly, constantly, always asking yourself, why am I doing this? What's the reason? Is it selfish? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it love, compassion? What's the driving factor behind what I'm doing?
I see.
Because that's what the
Okay.
story is about. You're trying to understand the character in the story, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
confuse you further. It's just I thought it would be helpful because it was presented to me the other day, and you brought up something that kind of reminded me of that. So I thought it would be interesting to share.
Excellent.
Damien, you've been a bit quiet for a few minutes.
No, I didn't. I didn't want to interrupt. I'm going to ask Isha if he has he watched Squid Game. Have you seen that?
Squid Games is good.
Yeah.
Oh, Squid Game. Yeah.
Have you seen the second series?
Season 2.
Yeah, the new one. Yeah.
No, I'm a bit bored. I haven't seen the entirety. I only seen the pilot episode. It was so different, though the vibes.
Okay. Well, it should be because I think the first one was very good. I think it was one of Netflix's biggest. Um, it was a massive success for Netflix, and their subscribers and their money that they made, everything, blah blah, was huge. I think it was the number two thing. I'm not sure if it was after The Crown. You remember The Crown? I think that was their number one series for a
Oh,
long time.
Crown, yeah, the Crowns.
Yeah, and The Crown was very good. I did get into that. But I'm just wondering if you've seen the new series. But I think if the vibes are different, that's a good thing because I think if it's just a rehash of what they did in the first series, that it probably wouldn't work. You need something new. You need to say, right, we're going to go on a different journey. Similar principle, but a different journey.
I see. Okay, so different
Yeah.
journeys. Okay.
I've not actually
Oh,
seen the
yeah,
second one yet either. The second one,
yeah.
it's not going to be exactly the same as the first because they got to make it interesting.
That's what. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and they don't want to have if the second series wasn't good, all that wouldn't go on about how good the first one was. It would be how bad the second one was, and it would completely damage the whole Netflix brand. Do you know what I mean? So they have to be very, um, thought out in how they do these things. So I would imagine it's very good, but I haven't. I think I will. Have you seen Game of Thrones?
Me?
So,
And both of you,
Yes, I've seen Game of Thrones. Keisha?
oh
right?
yes, Game of Thrones. Yes, the lovely,
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah. I watched the first 4 episodes, and then so I have to come back to that at some point.
Cool.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was
So,
interesting, but then they've created this new version. I think it's called House of the Dragon or something. There's a new
yeah,
TV show or something. But I've not
yeah.
watched any of that. I'm just like, are they just milking it? Are they
No,
just?
the House of Dragons is actually a prequel
Oh, it's a
that they made
prequel.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually set in the time before the Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They do still say watch Game of Thrones first and then watch House of Dragons afterwards. But the House of Dragons is set before. But I have got somebody I know, and his son was an electrician on
Mhm.
the House of Dragons, and he was getting 6 grand a week.
Whoo!
Yeah, yeah.
Chilling,
So there you
chilling.
go. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So,
With some Gita,
one sec.
sorry, Dom. Yeah.
I just want to get because you said you were going to answer this question earlier. How can you spot a fake messiah?
Well, the reason I'm kind of the reason I kind of thought about it was because I've been watching more of the Al-Matli's Peace and Light.
Okay, those
So,
guys. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and so I'd seen something. I think it was maybe yesterday, the day before. I think it might have been yesterday. That I hadn't seen before, and it was the minute seen the video started, I knew where they were going, and it
Mm-hmm.
was about this big light appearing in the bush.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that?
Nope.
Right.
But I
So
guess they're talking about the burning bush that Moses saw, right?
you know what I mean. I
Yeah.
thought, oh, they're going to Moses here with the burning bush, and what I would say is, initially I thought it was interesting, but the more I go through with it, I have to think it's some kind of a scam, some kind of a con. And I just seen a video that's just popped up on screen, and it says the new Islam on their channel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just come off going, and I watched some stuff yesterday, and they kind of had me interested up to this point. And there was 3 of them. One of them's from the UK, and
Yeah.
three of them was debating. Um, well, not debating. They have some book called the Gold something.
Yes,
The
I
people,
think the leader's written it. I think
right?
the leader
Okay. So,
wrote the
so,
book.
so basically the old story of the crucifixion never happened, and their whole, if I kind of thought they were coming out with fresh thinking initially, um, and as far as I'm concerned, there's enough evidence to say the crucifixion did happen.
Mm-hmm.
So they were going back to the Islamic narrative
Mm-hmm.
on, oh, it only appeared so, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So I kind of thought. So anyway, there's the light basically in the bush, and all the girls are very, very attractive. They're quite Israeli looking,
Mm-hmm.
oddly enough. There's this Jewish, that these young Israeli kind of, they could be in the IDF. They wouldn't look out of place in the IDF. You know what I mean? So they're all very attractive, the men and the women, and they're very polished, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do a bit of a deep dive into them because I'm quite curious about them. But up until I seen the video yesterday with the burning bush, and then the thing about the crucifixion, I kind of thought, oh no, this is just a new attempt of something
Rebranding Islam.
rebranding Islam, and that's why I say I've just seen this thing that's just come up saying
Yeah.
the new
No.
Islam.
Well, that's why I agreed with Chris when he said they're kind of cultish because he's a leader looking for followers,
Yeah,
deputizing people, blah 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 blah
yeah,
blah. He's trying to
yeah,
create a cult following essentially,
yeah,
and he's doing it on the back of Islam. But if at the same time he does kind of wake up regular Muslims to
yeah, yeah.
certain falsehoods that they've kind of
Mm.
believed, then I think it balances out, kind of thing. It balances
Yeah,
out.
quite Jamaican actually.
Yeah. Hopefully Jesus
Um,
turns up before anything bad happens, and he could pull them
before,
away from that.
before next before next Saturday. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I look at it. I mean, I think there's gimmicky stuff there. I mean, so I was in the chat yesterday,
Mm,
and I put a text in the chat. They're all going on about this burning bush and the light coming out. And you can see this light. They got video footage of it, which always helps convince people.
mm,
And it was this bright light coming from inside the wood, and it was just really bright. It was like obviously something was going on. And I said in the chat, did anybody go into the wood to check the source? Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I don't remember anybody responding to it.
No, no.
But I don't think it was deliberate. I think I just came out of it because I was doing something else, probably dealing with my pizza man possibly. But the more I look at the guy, he's interesting, but there's something about him that now that I have to do a lot more checking, where I start to think, no, there's something going on here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They they present in a they have a very good look.
Professional present, yeah, very
Yeah,
professional, clean, yeah.
very clean, polished, professional. They're all extremely articulate.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, they've all got kind of degrees
Mm-hmm.
in something. You know, they're all that kind of academic. Um, and they all enthuse about the same thing. So, but my kind of thinking is, no, this guy is not the Messiah. Which is the point
Yeah,
you were asking me.
yeah.
I just think no, this is the guy. I don't think he's the Messiah. I don't think Chris is the Messiah or Maddie or the Maitreya. I don't. I don't think the guy that Chris was speaking to yesterday is
Is the
the
messenger,
prophet or messenger.
yeah.
So what's the difference between a messenger and prophet?
Uh,
The man.
well, the messenger conveys the message.
Right.
A prophet, I think this is what I understand from it. So a
Mm,
prophet has prophecy, something about the
right.
future, whereas a messenger just passes on the message of God.
Mm.
So I
And
think, mhm.
yeah, go ahead. So you know Alidawa, yeah. So basically, now he goes on about this whole thing about a prophecy
Mhm.
about that, but the Romans over overthrowing the Persians within 3 to 9 years.
Yes, I remember hearing Muslims talk about not
Yeah,
Ali Dawah specifically, but other Muslims because
right,
they love to mention that.
right. They really
Yeah,
do. So I heard this. It must be a few months ago on his Leicester Square kind of Friday evening.
little
I'll
walk
take,
around. Yeah.
yeah, where he does the thing. So I was watching it on a live, and basically he had a English kind of a guy. He started having this conversation with this guy who was British guy, and but the guy was a historian,
Hmm.
right? And so that was part of the conversation. And what I was kind of saying in the chat to people, I've had people coming back attacking me yesterday on this. It's a 50-50. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Only one or two outcomes is possible. So
And then when you justify like Chris justifies it, it's like, oh
yeah,
no, God decided that it wasn't going to happen. It's like, oh, so
yeah.
it's still true, but God decided it wasn't going to happen. And then you retrospectively kind of go, it's a miracle if it happened, and if it didn't happen,
But
it's still a
you know
miracle
what I mean?
because God
Yeah,
forgave him or
yeah,
whatever.
absolutely. Yeah. So I was trying to make an analogy. You know, if I put a coin in one of my hands, and my hands are closed, and I tell you to pick a coin, there's a very strong chance of you getting it.
Mm, mm,
So I said that's just not a prophecy. But the other thing that Ali Dawa came up with was this is a new video of him. So this is why I was chatting because I'd seen the original video. I'd seen the original him having the conversation with this historian. This guy he had the conversation with was a historian,
mm,
youngish guy in his kind of late 30s maybe. And obviously he's telling the truth that he was a historian, you know, so he knew what he was talking about.
mm,
And so basically, the other one they go on about with Ali Dawa is that I think in the Quran it refers to Pharaoh. Pharaoh.
mm,
It's either Pharaoh or king, but the Bible refers to the opposite, either king or Pharaoh. And basically saying, how could the Quran have known that they were referred to, would have been known as pharaohs as the Bible referred to as kings? So we didn't copy that, and we're only now obviously know that that's correct, that the pharaohs would have been known as pharaohs, and the Bible didn't have it. So the historian said both those terms
mm,
were used interchangeably
mm.
at the time. So that again, that's no big
No,
prophecy.
exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Were
those
they trying to
titles,
be like, no, no, we're different. No, that word
yeah,
was.
basically, we got to, you know. But actually, I'll tell you an interesting story. Do you know the story? So anyway, I was commenting last night in the chat saying basically about what I said about the 50-50 and also that those two titles were used interchangeably in
Mm,
Ali Dawa I said in the chat on Ali Dawah's channel,
Mhm.
which is why I probably got such a pushback, saying that Ali Dawah has been already had this explained about 2 months ago
Uh.
by a historian in the same place where he's standing now. So that obviously didn't go down too well. So I did. I forgot what I was going to say. I lost the train of thought. Damn it.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll take over.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. The Muslims they love to pull out all these miracle things or these other things that it's just like you've just been told this is amazing, or you've been told that this is a really good point, but you've never actually thought it through. Because if you did think it through, you'd simply come up with the same understanding that everyone else has, like you just said, with the historian actually looking at it with the factual kind of independent lens. He's seeing it as, okay, yeah, they used both words interchangeably. So this point that they always make, if they actually thought about it, if there wasn't just part of the Dawa script, because this is the thing, the Dawa script is been manufactured over time by testing them against the Christians. So they'll say something to the Christians, and if the Christians can't come back, it stays in the Dawa script.
Yeah.
And then obviously once the Christians come back, then they maybe amend the Dawa script a little bit, but then and it's just, once again, it's what they're being told to say. It's not really anything that they're actually using their own brain to understand and trying to comprehend and see reason in what they're reading. It's more just about pushing.
But you know what I'm kind of alluded to this before. I kind of feel they know that a lot of their stuff is nonsense, but they just have to keep pushing away at it. Do you know what I mean?
But you know why, though?
Why, tell me.
Because they want heaven. It's the carrot or the stick. So they're like, okay, we want to avoid punishment.
Yeah,
we'd rather have heaven. So we will make this work some way or the other. And we know it's got to be true because we want to get to heaven.
And I think that's the kind of thing that kind of struck me as well, is that it's very much fear of hell and fear of the day of judgment and all of that. And I think the great thing with your stream, and this is kind of where I was trying to allude to with Chris yesterday, is we're kind of and I think the very first time I came on your stream, maybe the first and second, when we were talking with Jay Fu, was trying to say about having a higher kind of level of conversation about a higher-ness. And it's not about superiority or being or anything like that.
No.
But to come away from all this dark imagery of, hell, and you got to burn in hell, all of that kind of stuff, right? Because personally, I don't believe that. You know what I mean? And that goes back to things I've told you before. Sorry, Geisha, were you going to say something there?
Yeah. I just wanted to affirm you mentioned about hell. I also don't believe in the hell that the so-called hell that you go if you're so-called bad person. That this is like fairy tale level of
Hell exists. Hell exists. Hell exists. Hell exists.
No. I'd rather think that hell is more of a mental state.
Yeah.
That person temporarily goes there, like a limbo state, where not really like a place that people are getting burned. Makes no sense. There's no justice. There's no justice in having bad people in hell.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus, don't forget, went to hell. They say Jesus went down to hell for 3 days, I think. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I've heard this. Let me just Google it now quickly. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one of the things I've heard.
In Islam,
no, in Christianity.
What?
Jesus went to hell.
I've never heard that before. No.
Yeah, Jesus went to hell for 3 days. Let me look for the exact scripture.
And made sex to 99 women.
Some believe that 1 Peter 3:19 teaches that Jesus went to hell for 3 days to preach to demons or the unsaved before his resurrection. So, that's why. So he died. He went down to hell, and then he was ascended, according to some Christian beliefs. So
I just popped down here for a minute.
Yeah, help them out before I head up.
All right, lads. It's a quick stop. It's just a flying visit, literally.
Yeah. So pay attention because I ain't around for long, and then I gotta
Yeah.
go. But it shows that like it's not even just bad people that go to hell.
Mm,
Jesus is meant to be the best of us all, according to
mm.
the Christians, and he went to hell. So it is a real place, I think, but it's not like a place. It's not like a location. It is a
Mm.
kind. It's not, I don't want to say it's completely in the mind. It is
Yeah.
something that you can manifest in the real world, and
But yeah, but what, the man, just going back to what Geisha said, I kind of think the hell can be. I think we've all had moments like when you were sharing about, that time when you were putting the scarf around your neck.
uh,
I think we've all had periods of time where we.
no,
Well,
I wouldn't say I was going through hell. I was going through a tough time. I was probably
yeah.
overreacting a bit like a kid, but yeah, looking back at it,
Well,
that
no,
wasn't
I just
hell.
think
If I look at
no.
what's going on around the world at the moment, where there's
Yeah.
people being abducted, like from school kids being like
Mm,
schoolgirls in Africa getting abducted by like gangs or
mm.
something, or when I see stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's hell. That's
But
hell, not what I've been through.
but I would, what I would say to that, man, is that everything is relative. You know what I mean?
It is, but it's
It,
also the thing is, I understand the relativeness of life, but I also
yeah.
understand that if I'm too busy stuck on the relativism and just going, yeah, but I've still gone through hell. It's like, yeah, but
No, yeah, no, I'm not saying it in that way to kind of be a victim. Had to go in, like where Chris was going yesterday.
yeah,
In that
you end
kind
up
of
going
thing.
very easily into that victim
Yeah,
mentality.
I'm not saying it from that to be in that.
Mm.
But what I'm saying is we can be honest. What I'm saying from a place of being honest with yourself and other people, you can say that there have been points where you've been in such a dark place for whatever was happening at the time. I can recognize it with some people that I know. My family members. So you can turn around and think, like I went down very low.
Mm.
I was in it with her addiction, whatever it was, and you can definitely say that people
Yeah,
have been.
but when you can see real hell on earth, when you can see like, that's why I use that example of these situations that are going on in the world, where
Yeah,
people's limbs are being blown off in a war that they didn't start, and then they
yeah,
have to live the rest of their life with that kind of disability and stuff like that. And I go, okay, that's real hell, and it kind of
yeah.
gives me a bit of perspective on my own issues. Uh, Once
But
again,
that, yeah,
it
no, that
stops
I
me
get.
from
No,
going into
yeah,
victim mentality, and it
yeah,
also
yeah,
makes me
yeah, yeah,
appreciate the good stuff in my life.
yeah,
The fact that
yeah,
I do have a roof over my head, I do have food in my belly,
yeah,
I do have all my limbs, I can see, I can breathe, I wake up every day without having to worry about have my family been blown up or something. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, yeah, I get it.
I
There
could
is,
see the real hell that is possible.
yeah, but what I'm saying, yeah, I see hell. I kind of go back to what Keisha was saying. I see hell. More of a spiritual torment. I think that's what Geisha was trying to say. So I don't think we need to be, in relation to the people you were mentioning and that are having those situations. I think we can all go through a spiritual torment within ourselves, because of something that's going on in our life, and we come out the other side and we over that thing. So
Mm.
I think it's kind of subjective and relative to us, and that So for that reason, I do think those kind of tests, spiritually honest through life, that we go through those dark times, I kind of think of that as hell. I don't think of hell as a real place. And I can see where it manifests. I definitely, of course, can see, there's, my God, no matter how hard I might think things are, for me,
Mm.
I can see where, I'm not really in a position to complain.
No, you're not in hell at the moment.
No,
There's
yeah, well, comparatively speaking,
yeah.
is what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, no, I totally get that. But I don't know if I think really what we were saying is you're kind of linking health to physical pain there. You do realize that, don't you?
Sorry.
You are kind of linking your understanding of hell based on what you were saying to have physical pain.
No, not just physical. So, like I said, it was more of a emotional, because waking up every day, whether you're and thinking, oh, well, my parents going to get blown up today, that plays with the emotional mind,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
there's the spiritual aspect, because you might be trying to pray to God and have hope in God, but all
Mm,
you see is craziness around you. Physically, yes, also. Mentally, yes, because it's like mentally, how do I work my way out of this? How do I get out of this situation mentally? Like, how do I think my way out of this? What decisions do I make?
Yeah, but sorry, I mean, really, where we were kind of going with it was, do you believe it's the physical hell? Do you believe there's a physical place in the sense of the afterlife of hell? And then you went on to Jesus. So we're trying to work out what your thoughts was on that. You know what I mean?
So hell is, so like I said, in my perspective, it's real, meaning that if you choose to make certain decisions, you will end up going to a place that is going to be affecting you
Painful.
mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and whatever. So at that point, it will be a physical place to you, and you will be like, I am in fucking hell. It's not just a mental hell, it's literally in all aspects. You're trapped. So I can understand that aspect, but I also understand that through truth, love, compassion, contentment, humility, and hope, you could find the light to get out of that hell. But you have to be able to overcome all that crap that's going on around you. And that's why I say that, like, even though I complain about certain things, even though I said, oh, this shit's happening in my life, that shit's happening in my life, I understand that the shit that's happening in my life is nothing compared to some people. Some people have gone through
Of course.
real motherfucking hell compared to me. So
how different, man, is Sikhism in the sense of scripturally different from the Bible and the Quran?
So it's different in the sense that it doesn't actually talk about rules so much. It's just
Does
purely.
it have a single book? Does it have a
Single book.
What's it called?
It's called the Guru Granth Sahib. I'll write it down. I'll send it in the StreamYard. It's called the Guru Granth Sahib. It's just literally, it's a book of wisdom. That's all it is. Oh, thank you very much, Geisha. It's just a book of wisdom, where it just talks about how God is the best, God is amazing, God is awesome. It's just bigging up God. The entire book is just bigging up God, and it's just saying that we as people are worthless. We can't do anything good unless God helps us do something good.
Have you read it?
Not all. I've read bits of it. So the first thing that we are taught as Sikhs is like the first bit, which goes Ek Onkar, which means there is only one God.
Right, okay.
Satnam, which means his name is true, or truth is his name. I like my version. Truth is his name. Ek Onkar Satnam Karta Purkh, he is forever doing. Nirbo, Nirvar. I can't remember the whole translation because it's old Punjabi. It's not like, it's called Gurmukhi. So the Punjabi that we speak nowadays, like within culturally, is actually completely different to the way the script was written. So you have to kind of translate it into this newer version, try and understand it. But it goes. So the first thing is called Mool Mantra. Mool Mantra. Mool Mantra. That's basically just the gist of the entire book, but reading the rest of the book will give you added guidance.
Right, so I'm just looking a little bit on ChatGPT.
Awesome.
So there's 25 to 30 million Sikhs worldwide.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big religion.
That's probably because of it being
300 years. Yes. Yeah. And the fact that a lot of them were killed in India back in the day. Muslims were killing them. Muslims were killing them. Hindus were killing them. British were killing them. And a lot of Sikhs. Little fun fact that I know: Sikhs in India are like one of the smallest population, but they were the highest percentage in the the Indian army and the British army.
Yeah, no, I know about the contribution in the British Army.
Yeah, they volunteered a lot because, like I said, they were kind of brought into the world as the warriors of peace. They were meant to be the line that.
And is the Golden Temple in Amritsar? That's your
correct.
temple, isn't it?
That's correct. Yes.
Golden Temple.
Yeah. I never got there. I must at some point. So.
Oh no way! How did you miss Golden Temple out of your little tour?
Oh, it was, I think I was Oh, I don't know. I was doing my thing, and I was told, "Oh, I want to be." It was. I was kind of going different directions. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you a funny story here, guys. This is funny. Okay,
Go for it.
I was on my way to Kerala. You know Kerala, yeah. To get a train. I was on my way to Kerala from Goa to get a flight to Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm.
To renew my passport, basically. My visa, not renew my passport, but my visa had expired. I was about to expire, so I needed, if I wanted to stay in India, I had to go and get a new visa. So basically, anyway, I got a train. There was taxi strikes in Goa.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a nightmare. Okay, so all the taxis were on strike, and they were blockading the roads. All these motorbike taxis,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So nobody could get to the airport. Finally, I got a scab taxi, so to speak. And then I got pulled out of the taxi. We got a little bit down the road, and then all these bloody local taxi drivers seen us and pulled me out of the taxi.
Oh,
And the
that's good.
driver, you can't go, blah, blah, blah. And then behind this line was these motorbike taxis going, "You need a taxi, remember it?" Like this. Anyway, so there was these taxi strikes, and it was a nightmare just to get to the train station. So I got to the train. I was getting the train to Carla, a long 12-hour journey, or 10-hour journey, whatever it was. And then 5 minutes, the train started pulling out. It was dark, okay? And the ticket inspector came up and said, "All right, my friend, where are you off to?" I said, "I'm up to Carla." And he goes, "Oh, really?" He said, "I've heard it's very nice there." He said, "But you're not going there."
Not on this train.
Not on this train. He said, "You're off to Mumbai." I thought, "Oh, you're bloody kidding me." And everybody just looking at me on the train. I said, so, and somebody was like, "That's your train over there." So there was another train across the track, right?
Yeah.
And basically, uh, I, I got my bag, and in the dark, running across these tracks, not
Mm-hmm.
worried, thinking, am I going to get electrocuted? Completely paranoid I'm going to be electrocuted by on the track. And the other train is pulling out the other direction,
Oh.
obviously. And I just run, and this hand, it was a woman's hand, it turned out to be a woman's hand, just came out of the door and just pulled me out.
Oh, saved by the lady.
It was a night, it was saved by the lady. And basically, anyway, I went to Kerala, and the first thing I went to do in Kerala, you'd hate this, someone you would annoy you. First thing I did when I got off the train in Kerala, what would be the first thing you do?
Uh,
The very first thing you do after a 12-hour train journey.
oh, probably go eat something.
No, even before that. No, but come on, both of us have been doing it here, one after the other. So
Oh, smoke.
right. So I went to light a cigarette. I took a cigarette out, and somebody just come up and said, "I hope you're not considering lighting that."
Why?
Yeah. So Kerala, you cannot smoke outside.
Oh,
In the
wow.
open. Yeah,
Oh,
it's completely banned from smoking.
I did not know that. Okay, is
Yeah.
that still in effect then, or is that kind of like a temporary
I
thing?
would no, no, no. I would imagine that's Kerala is a bit up its arse, if you know what I
Okay,
mean.
okay.
Yeah, they have a bit. I live in Kerala is lovely. Don't get me wrong. But Kerala is a bit special. It sees itself as a bit. You've heard the saying "God's own country."
God's own country.
Yeah, that refers to Kerala.
Okay, is that
You
like
hear
their
it
motto
saying
or
in
something?
India. Yeah, you'll hear it in India. When you say where you from, say I'm from God's own country, Kerala.
Mm,
So there's a bit of, Kerala's lovely. Don't get me wrong, but there's a bit of an arrogance because they have the highest education rate.
okay, that's where the money's at. That's why you had to go there for the passport, visa stuff.
No, no, I had to go there to get a flight to Sri Lanka.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you said Sri
Yeah,
Lanka. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I was only going there as a stopover for 2 nights, flight to Sri Lanka, get my visa, and come back. And and then I had a big drama there because I had an apartment in Goa,
Mhm,
and all my stuff was in my apartment. Yeah, and I was trading on the stock market on my
mhm,
computer in the UK,
mhm.
but on my laptop in
In
India. Yeah,
yeah, in Goa.
in Goa. And basically, this guy at the customs said, "What do you do, my friend?" I said, "I'm a trader. I trade in the stock market." He said, "Are you working in India?" and it just quickly spiraled. This whole conversation quickly spiraled. I thought they're not going to let me back into India. That's where it was going. And I
Yeah.
said, no, I'm trading in, no, I'm doing UK companies. And but it looked like that's where the conversation was going to say, oh, you're working. You're
Mm,
actually making a living from India and you're a
yeah.
tourist.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking of my apartment, all my stuff in there. And it was okay. I got to Sri Lanka. And then when I got to the airport, there was an issue with the ticket. I can't remember what it was now, but there was some issue with the ticket. And I had to go online. I'll never forget this. I had to go online on my laptop in the airport trying to rebook a new ticket or something. I can't remember what the actual issue was. There was something that wasn't allowed that I didn't know, but I can't remember. And it was just this baby or child being really a nuisance as I was, near me, as I'm really stressed on my laptop trying to book this ticket, thinking I got to miss my flight. So anyway, that was it.
Bit of an adventure, though, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
what
a
you like.
bit of,
That's what you need. You need
okay,
a bit of adventure where
yeah,
you don't know where it's gonna go.
yeah,
Embrace the
no, yeah.
chaos.
So, but would you not go back and check out? Do you
I
ever
would. No,
think
no, I
about
would.
doing?
I would definitely do
Mm,
it. But like I said the other day, it's just I wouldn't do the Well, I do the family thing a little bit. I'd go say hello to family. But with the last trip I went with my mum when I was a kid, because I was a kid when
yeah,
I went with my mum, it was just
yeah.
purely just family visits and just staying with family. I couldn't really go explore on my own as a kid. But as an adult, yeah, I would definitely go explore. There's so many different places I want to check out. So many different
Who's
places.
who's the guru, Demon, of Sikhism?
Uh,
Who did not the first person?
the first one was called Guru Nanak.
Hold on. Oh, the guru. Yeah, I
Nanak.
got it. Yeah, yeah. Let's have a look. Okay, I've seen this picture before, actually.
Yeah. According to some Sikhs, well, most Sikhs, he would have been like a Jesus equivalent.
Right. Okay.
And so would all the other. There was 9 other gurus after him, so
Hmm.
10 total. And yeah, they would all have been like Jesus equivalents according to Sikhs.
Right. What's that? He's got a thing on his hand. It actually looks like the Have you seen it?
Yes, that's the Ik Onkar. That means there is only one God. Ik.
Okay.
So the way Ik means one,
Yeah.
and Onkar is like Ong.
Hmm?
You know the
Mm.
sound Ong. It's just saying
Yeah.
that there is only one sound. There is only one vibration.
No, and where else do we hear that?
We were talking about it the other day. We were saying how the universe started with the Big Bang, and it's just one vibration, and
No. Yeah. Go on. Sorry.
causing a different vibrations within itself,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
all stems from the original vibration. And also Om in
That's what.
Hinduism
Yeah. No. That's
is
what I'm
the
talking about.
primordial sound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I was referring to the primordial sound of the
Yeah. Well, I just threw a bit of science in as well, just to kind of make it for the
That's
atheists, you
cool.
know.
So there's a little bit of a similarity in Guru Nanak's to the isn't it? There's
Yeah,
a bit
well,
of similarity in what you're saying.
the truth is always going to be the truth. This is why I say that when I say
Mm.
something and the Muslims are like, "Oh yes, that's in our book," and I say something and then the Christians are like, "Oh yes, that's in our book," I'm like, "Yeah, because it's the
Mm.
truth. If it's the truth, it's the truth." But if you want to
Yeah, yeah,
know whether Jesus died on a cross or not, I don't know.
yeah,
I can't tell you
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But whether I can say what I can say is compassion is what you need in life rather than
yeah.
hate. If you say that's good, that's true, that's in our book, that's because
Yeah.
it's the truth. It's not because people are copying it. It's because the truth is the truth.
Well, do you know what I was saying to myself today? And it was kind of something I've been kind of saying quite a bit recently to myself and to other people. I hate the word hate. I realized that no, I know it's a silly, kind of a simple thing, but I realized that it came from me when I was discussing with people about how I don't like shaving.
How you
You
don't
know,
mind sharing?
I don't like shaving.
Oh, you don't like sharing?
No, no. So I
Really?
let it. No, it's just so laborious. I just the whole thing of lathering up your face and
Oh,
then getting
shaving.
great.
Sorry, I thought you said sharing. I was like, you love sharing. Okay, shaving. Gotcha.
No shaving, the man. So, so I kind of just, I was remember, I'm kind of just remember conversations I was having with people, and basically just talking about certain things I don't particularly like,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of that you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's just certain things like I could say I don't like peeling potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, although I think shaving is a bit more, because it's just you got to. It's just a bit more involved. You know what I mean?
I
And
love
you
peeling
can.
potatoes. Peeling potatoes is great.
No, I'm talking about shaving now. You've moved on to
Oh,
potatoes.
and shaving. Shaving's great as well. Look, I have to do it every day just to make sure
I
I.
don't I don't like it, but what I found was I just found myself using the word hate. I hate
Mm-hmm.
shaving,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of found myself before that trying to explain to people hate is not a good thing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and when you give into that emotion, you lose your power.
Yeah, you're
Your
giving your
spirit,
power to the hate. Yeah.
you lose your spirit, everything. So when you give into that, you lose the you really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was just trying to say I just became aware of it, and I just thought. I really don't like that word, and I have to really think about how I use words. And that
Yes.
I thought there's no real justification in really in anything that I can think of at the moment. I'm sure there would be, but to say I hate, because also by I say I hate, I'm identifying myself
Mm-hmm.
with that, because I'm saying I hate, and I think I have to remember that
Have you got a
what
word to
I'm
replace it with?
dislike
No,
or don't
no,
like.
no, no.
Yeah.
Change it. Change it. Change it. It should be I struggle. I struggle with
Well,
shaving. Why? Because you have to
yeah.
overcome this struggle. So the next time you're doing it, you're going to try and overcome it. If you say I dislike, it's the same thing as hate. You're just giving it power. You're saying this thing I don't like it. Keep it away from me. But if you call it a struggle, then it's something you can overcome. It's not just a
But
stuck
I
in.
tell you, yeah, okay, I get your point too. I tell you the issue there is because I so much constantly feel like I'm struggling with something or other, I just don't want to add another one to the list. Do you know what I mean?
But
So
life is struggle.
that
Life
would,
is
I
struggle.
don't know totally, yeah, but I don't want to keep reminding myself that that's where I'm at.
No, but the thing is, it's not about adding to the. Sorry, I'm gonna just mute you for a second, Geisha. I know you're talking to somebody. I'll unmute you in a second.
Was he talking to us
No, no, no.
or
I
something?
think there's someone in his room. I heard a lady. Um. So no,
Looking on?
when you say struggle, it's not to add to your struggles. It's
Hmm.
to add to your challenges. It's the
No, no,
challenges you're gonna overcome. So the next time you're shaving, you're gonna
yeah.
try and have some fun with it. You'll probably let it grow a little bit, make a little funny design, and do
Hmm.
play around with your facial hair, shave it this way, shave it that way, and then before you know it,
Yeah.
shaving isn't a chore anymore. It's just something, and maybe you feel good after you shave, and you know what I mean.
I do. No, I do. I also. I tell you, the funny thing is, I do let it go for a few days,
Hmm.
and people sometimes comment on it, in a negative way, and because I am grey. Once
Hmm.
I go unshaven, it goes grey. It is grey.
Hmm.
Which is fine. 60 years,
It
59
is
years
what it
of age.
is. Yeah.
That is what it is. But I think what it is some of the things that I have to do that I can't avoid, just as part of living daily.
Mm.
I just I was just kind of voicing that dislike of that particular procedure to people, and then I realized I was using the word hate, and
Yeah.
then I thought, no, I need to come away from that word. So really,
And then you chose dislike.
well, I said, well, no, I probably still said hate, but it was more about being aware of there's such strong connotations to the word, and I try to explain this to some people. 'Cause, I might be in speaker's corner, and
Mm.
somebody will say hate, and I try to press them down on the word to say,
Mm.
I want you to realize what you're connecting with, and
Mm.
what you're
Mm.
saying. You know what I mean? So it's more about trying, like you were saying, just trying to find a different way, different word to, you know,
Some and if you use like struggle or some challenge
struggle doesn't work for me.
or opportunity,
Yeah,
an opportunity to feel good.
oh, that's an opportunity. I do.
You said you feel
Okay,
good
well,
after you shave, so it's an
yeah.
opportunity to
Well,
feel good.
yeah. What I was going to say was that I can go through the unshaven state,
Mm.
and not particularly looking after myself for a few days, and I can feel my mental state go down.
Mm.
I can feel it dipping down. Yeah. But the minute, usually, normally, a lot of the time, a shave will also go along with having a bubble bath, you know. So when I do that, sometimes I hear,
And then
here's
in the
the,
bubble bath, you make a nice big white beard.
no, I do, no, I have cleansers and stuff in the bath, like scrubs. Um,
Okay, boring stuff.
but yeah, well, just kind of, So, but sometimes I shave the night before because I know I don't like it. Because I know if I don't shave the night before, I'm less likely to get in the shower in the morning.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So if I get up in the morning and I want to have a shower and I think, but I have to shave, I'm just less likely to do it in that morning head.
Hmm.
So if I do it the night before, I'm more likely to do it. So
But
yeah,
yeah,
so
it's just
yeah,
it's like you said, you like the feeling after it, and it shouldn't be something. Yes, it's something that you do for your
you have to
maintenance,
do. You
but
can't not do. Otherwise, that ends up like a hermit, like a
there's
guru.
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I don't want to go. I really don't. I really. You know what it is, man? I kind of thought I could feel myself going down that way.
Mhm.
And it kind of goes back to a previous conversation we had. Do you know what I mean? About something else, but in that same area about caring, what you want, what you care about, what
Mhm.
motivates you. And I kind of thought giving up, but it's probably the best way of putting it on. So where I was thinking, I don't need to shave, or I don't need to do this, but kind of letting yourself go to a
Mhm.
degree. Do you know what I mean? Um, but so I could slip into an unkempt state.
Good, good. Do this for your challenge. Whether you choose your
Yeah.
mission, whether you choose to accept, is to go a week without shaving.
Yeah. Oh no,
Go.
I've done longer. No, I've
Okay,
done. No, I've
okay.
been,
Then do a
yeah, no,
month.
I've done longer.
Fine,
Yeah, yeah,
fine. You just made the
yeah.
challenge harder for yourself. You have
Yeah,
to go a month without shaving. That's your challenge.
yeah,
And
no,
by the end of the month, you
yeah.
will appreciate shaving, and you will no longer hate it. You will be
I'm not.
like,
I'm not gonna. Yeah, but hold on, man. I we just discussed. We just accepted that I've changed the word. So I don't have
okay,
to
so
change
it
practice.
won't be dislike, it
Yeah,
won't be a struggle. It will
yeah,
be something
yeah,
you appreciate.
yeah.
It will be
No,
something that you look forward to because
yeah, no,
you're gonna do
okay,
a
all
month
right.
of growing it. That
Yeah,
where every day you're like, oh, it looks bad, but I want to shave it. But Damon told me not to for a month.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
And then at the
Yeah,
end of the month, you're gonna be like,
yeah.
thank you, Razor. Thank you. I
No, I
appreciate
think.
you.
Yeah, no, I do actually. No, I do. Yeah, because if I couldn't do it, what could I do? What would be
You
the
have to
option?
live with it, and you have to kind of look at
Yeah,
it and go, I want to shave it, but I have
yeah,
chosen to do this for a month. And then when you finally do get a chance to
yeah,
shave it, you appreciate the fact that you get to do what you wanted to do, which was shave it,
yeah.
and
But,
it
but
changes your perspective completely on the.
yeah, but you know my issue with it. The reason I was kind of trying to pull back from going there because there's a part of me that could allow myself to think, oh, just let the hair go. Remember, I was telling you
Mm,
about what's that guy's name who's talking about on Dragon's Den and not washing his hair. So I could feel like, oh, that's not important. That's not important.
mm,
I don't need to put chemicals on my hair. I can let my hair grow. 'Cause I grew my hair for 2 years one time. Okay, when I moved to the area first, I had quite long hair,
yeah.
believe it or not. And so, but I kind of felt that if I go down that road, that there's something that what is it saying? Let go and let something else. What's the saying?
Uh, I know there's live and let live,
Well,
but I don't know about
no,
let go. And
there's something with let go, and it was quite powerful.
let me
I'm
have a
not sure.
Google of it. Let me Google it.
I think it could be let go and then let live. It could be something like that.
Let go saying.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to shoot off because my dinner is still in the oven.
Oh yeah, no
And
worries, no worries. I'm probably not going
I
to do
got,
a late one anyway today, but
yeah,
I appreciate you coming on. Let me just have a quick look. So
yeah,
there's the truth is, unless you let go, forgive yourself. No, that's not going to be the one that you're talking about. Yours is quite short,
yeah.
isn't it? Let go of
Yeah,
becoming, but never let go of taking action. No.
no, it's something I heard. I can't remember. Uh, some let go and something. So, or it could be something before it's something let go. I can't
Hmm.
remember what it was.
Well, if you do remember, write it down,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
please bring it back. But you
yeah.
enjoy your casserole, buddy.
Yeah, I want to try to get to the. Yeah, no, it's all good. Do you know what I mean? It is all good. It's I think again, like I say, I think it's just becoming aware. So I think well, really the point of what I was trying to explain was the fact that I was noticing that that word when I was using it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of I was resisting it.
Mm-hmm.
Was making me look at the implication of the word and how it can impact people. You know,
Yes.
so I started to use kind of when I would hear somebody speak, it's kind of saying, "Oh, I hate that," and I say that's a very strong word and a very strong emotion. I tried to just focus them and say, really kind of, I just trying to have a little bit of think about what you're actually saying. Because a lot of people, I mean, me and you are kind of bright lights, and we're quite sorted out. No, we are
What are
relatively
you
okay.
talking?
And you
Ish.
probably use more ish. Yeah, but ish is
Ish.
okay. Yeah, but there's not a lot of people who are ish. Come on, there's not a lot of ish people. Do you understand what I mean? That's the point you need to remember. So I think it's okay. I think we have an awareness.
Mm.
We have awareness. I will always go back to the thing. Awareness. Um, I think did I say this to you about the guy in Syria? Was I on one of your streams?
I don't remember a
And
serious story.
I think Jay Fu might have come in, and I mentioned that, saying that I heard the guy use the word awareness. You know they shall make you.
Love
Like,
your shaving
so-
tools.
no, I remember the new guy that's taken over Syria, the
Uh,
HTS.
I think I heard a story a couple of weeks back, but I don't know
Right.
much about it.
Right. So Assad is dead and
If you say so.
well, are fled. I think he's in Russia, and this group uh, took over Syria, and they're classed as a terrorist group. Do you know what I mean? But the guy, I've only seen him in one conversation with CNN quite soon at the beginning of after the takeover. And I kind of liked him. There was something about him. He was very calm, but
Mm.
he used the word awareness.
Oh yes, I remember you saying yes, but it was
Yeah.
you weren't sure how he meant it because it could have just been being more
Well,
aware
no,
of what he's saying, so he
yeah,
doesn't look
yeah,
bad rather than.
well, that J Food, no, it was J Food that said that, and
No.
what I was saying because I heard that the word awareness just being used,
Mm-hmm.
coming from somebody who we have a different perception of, it gave me hope for Syria. That was the point I was making.
Mm-hmm.
And J Poo basically said what you've just said. Oh, but he knows the world's watching, and he's probably saying that. Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, he's a politician. He's just saying what he's
Yeah.
got to say. There was this speech recently I saw on YouTube. It was a Donald Trump speech, and then they showed. Have you heard of Legally Blonde?
I've seen it.
Yeah,
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 it's really. It's only maybe 3 4 years ago.
yeah.
Is it with what's her name? That's in it?
I can't remember her name, but young
Reese,
blonde girl,
Reese
Reese
Witherspoon?
Witherspoon. Yes,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
one.
It's a
Yes,
very good film. Yeah.
very good film. Very good film. But there's a speech inside that movie that
Yeah.
he literally gave. He changed the words a little bit, but it was literally the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
speech as the
Are
movie.
you kidding? You're
No,
kidding
serious.
me.
So, yeah,
She's a lawyer in it, isn't it?
yes,
She
correct.
becomes a lawyer or
Yeah,
something
yeah, yeah. She tries
and
to become a
goes
lawyer.
on to this defend somebody or something. There's a quite important part of being a lawyer. She's doing something in the thing, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah,
Really? That's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try and find it for the next stream. I'll try and
Hmm.
share it.
Yeah.
Geisha.
I'll be compared to the two.
Geisha says, wanted to share this short definition. Indeed, expanded awareness, a state of awareness known as witnessing. There are deeper, more profound states of consciousness beyond the default states of waking, dreaming, and sleeping. Out of these is the state of awareness known as witnessing, or the sixth state of consciousness.
Well, interesting.
Very
Thank
interesting.
you, Geisha. Yeah,
Thank you.
and very, very powerful stuff. Thanks, Geisha. I'm going to go and have my dinner.
Thank you.
I'm gonna come back and watch whatever Chris's
Yeah,
20
yeah.
minutes.
Chris, okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it's not going to be about me.
Thank
He's
you,
probably going to
sure.
focus on someone else.
Wait, sorry. Even when he came onto Nose's channel, it was just a very quick burst about
Yes.
just be on the bad channel.
Yeah, because then he had a new target. It was the Muslim guy
He
who's.
and he had to kind of get straight on his thing, so it was okay. So he didn't. No, he didn't. He wasn't a big.
No. I've probably talked more
Yeah.
about him than he's going to talk about me, but that's fine.
Well, probably actually, we both probably have. I think we, I think we're on this particular point. I think you and I are probably more guilty than him. You know, yeah.
But
I
we
think
have
I
been
think
quite balanced. We have been quite balanced, where we have tried to say that he's not an evil person, he's not
yeah,
this,
he's
and we're
yeah.
not we're not
I
just
think
trying to shit on the guy. We're just trying to say
yeah,
that.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I don't think he's. I think the positive thing is I don't think he's like I don't think he do his thing in the moment. I think Chris is
Mhm.
very in the moment.
Which is good,
Yeah,
which is good. But you
which is
have to
good.
do the work
Yeah,
first to be in the moment to make sure you're
yeah.
making a
No, but
positive impact.
yeah, no, absolutely. But what I mean is, when he went on to noses, it was literally one sentence. Oh, I've just been on Damon's channel with that Damien. But it was very. He didn't expand on that. That's
No,
the point to make, which is
yeah.
actually a positive thing. You know.
He-
Yeah, man. See you later, Geisha. See you soon.
See you, Damien. It
Take care,
was
buddy.
Yeah,
a
Enjoy.
pleasure chatting to you. You
yeah.
have a
You
very wise history of.
thank,
Uh,
thank you. Cheers. You're very
Yeah,
kind. Thank you, guys. See you later. Yeah.
take care, buddy.
Have,
Take
See you
care.
later.
have a
Bye.
good evening.
You too,
Okay.
pal. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, he's got a lot of he's got a good
Mm.
colourful history. He's done a lot of things in life, which is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised. He worked on a lot of Channel 4 TV series in
Yes.
the early 2000s. Yeah,
Yeah, he's an
yeah.
actor, ex-actor.
Actor, ex-actor. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Cool.
Geisha, how long are you going to need for this Thelema conversation?
Around 20 22 minutes.
22 minutes.
But
Wow, that's
I'm
accurate.
happy. I'm happy to. I already written some, so I have to talk really quickly. But I think this is a great stream. I wanted to say that Aleister Crowley, in a way, he is a fake messiah prophet. He claims to predict things in the future.
Mhm.
That's well, technically, I would say this. I would be very fair. I think Chris might be the reincarnation of Aleister Crowley. If he believes in reincarnation. Aleister Crowley believes in reincarnation.
Mhm.
He was a very intelligent person, I would say. I'm not saying that he isn't, but what I found out is that a lot of intelligent people aim their machine guns or maxim guns at the wrong target. It
Mhm.
is a metaphor. I'm saying the
Mhm.
spiritual gun, they're aiming it at the wrong view. They like what I mean by this is Aleister Crowley is a very heavy dualist. He's a magician.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if everyone knows in this. Or Subi. Subi is not here, unfortunately, but I think she would be interested. But Aleister Crowley is a ceremonial magician. He has a background in occult science. I
Mhm.
just call it alchemy, really,
Mhm.
because he did not invent the esoteric studies
Mhm.
or esoteric academia, they call it, but he innovated on top of it. That's the better term. Um, the thing is, I'm not going to talk about his Thelema religion that he founded because I rather talk about his character because this stream is. Diamond, what happened to the
Oh,
stream?
nothing, nothing. I was just
Sorry.
making sure that I was in focus. Please continue. Please continue.
Okay, no worries. Yes, so his journey is more interesting than the religion he founded. I think he had the good intentions to
Mhm.
found it, but unfortunately he was how to say, I sent a link previously, but he does a much better job. But I'll just summarize what he wrote. This ex-Thelemite wrote.
Mhm.
Aleister Crowley is a well-intentioned individual, but he has um, very hardline fundamentalist ideas. Um, I'm being very empathetic with him because his parents were, how to say, got him into a cult when he was younger. So
Mhm.
that was not really ideal. It was a like forerunner to Scientology. Is a cult forerunner to Scientology.
Mhm.
People assume that Ron D. Hubbard took ideas from um, took ideas from took ideas from Aleister Crowley, his god daddy, but I'd like to argue that he actually took it from in the information before Aleister Crowley that was more established. I think Aleister Crowley was partially a victim. His family were prominent royal nobles. I think Lancaster family, part of the Lancaster family tree,
Mm-hmm.
and he he's of minor nobility in a way, but he has this, I would say, charisma, and this never give up attitude that really inspire young people of his time.
Mm-hmm.
He was born in the late 19th century,
Mm-hmm.
well, really the 70s, right? But he lived through First World War. He lived through almost all of World War Two,
Mm-hmm.
and he's an interesting big chap. He's claimed to be like a prophet
Mm-hmm.
of Eva since, but I think he's a more of a forerunner of people claim he's a new world order religion. That's just conspiracy theory out of the way. um I think that he had visions, we'll say. He probably had took ayahuasca and other drugs or magic
Okay.
mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and but he was a big learner. He learned a lot. He was very different to the people of his period. He he went to India.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Goa. He went to study the Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, I can't find him. I don't think he interacted with Sikhism or Jainism, but he interacted with mainstream Hinduism, and he also interacted with Islam through mostly through Orientalists. Like, have you heard of Sir Richard Burton?
Name sounds familiar, but don't know who he
Yeah,
is. But it doesn't matter.
no,
Carry on.
no worries. Yeah, but that's a different. That's a bit offshoot. I don't want to talk too much, but his actions were fermented because of Sufism. I would say he went to Morocco. He went to Tunisia.
Mm-hmm.
His understanding of religion and spirituality came from Sufism,
Mm-hmm.
and he also had a good critique of Islam. Actually, I would just I learned about heart because it was a really unique take. He says that what he about Islam, the Islamic practitioners, the Sufi darkers and stuff, the way how Islam is structured
Mm-hmm.
is makes its practitioners have more courage, more masculine. And he argues that unlike Christian brethren, Christians are conniving. He claimed that
Oh.
Christians are conniving. They are um, they're not manly. They're not masculine. They don't exhibit leadership trait. A lot of Christians. He had a very complicated relationship with Christianity. He liked to prank Christians, claiming to the beast, the devil, but he never thought of himself as a devil worshipper. He actually in his memoirs claimed, alleged memoirs, he claimed that he thinks that Satanism and the early devil worshippings of like the cultic Irish groups, they
Mm-hmm.
were very silly, very immature,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote. He's a, in my view, he's an individual with a rich background of traveling to many places. He went to Tibet. He looked at studied under some Tibetan lamas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lamas. Not the animal lama.
No, 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 no. But the monks. Yeah.
Monks, yes, monks. Yeah, and he talks about how there's innate truth in Buddhism about um Buddhist ideas on ignorance, Buddhist ideas on the karma. He's also he agrees with the idea that ironic way that there is no self, no physical self, but there is a spiritual self. They call
Mm-hmm.
it there is only yourself, as in spiritually, not physically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, materially, you don't exist. He argued that's a really how to say forward thinking view, because this was very popularized by the Matrix movie and
Mm,
also previous founders, especially by Morpheus, sorry, no, Lawrence Fishburne's character. I mean,
mm, mm.
yeah, and I'd also, I think credit due. I think pop culture lends a lot to Aleister Crowley and what he collected. But this is the negatives now I will talk about.
Okay.
Aleister Crowley is that um, he is a person of high intelligence, but he does not tolerate people with different viewpoints that he thinks is um, is in his view says that is blocking the true well, his true well, or blocking someone's own journey or in
Mm,
a way. Like he didn't say journey, but he defines the true well. He defined true well as your personality, the way how knowledge, how the way you experience um, events, revelation, or text, or reading, and your goals in life, and sense that it's in your control, or that there's a very self-liberating view of theology, which I think of this time it was considered revolutionary thinking in a way because he did not adhere to strict dogmas. He actually disliked dogmas. He hated dogmas, but
mm.
unlike his practitioners in modern day dilemma, there's so much dogmas that I don't know what to say. They disagree so much. Um, I will say this. The modern Thelemites, they don't represent Aleister Crowley. I highly doubt.
Hmm.
It's like the
It's
modern
like
day Marxist Leninists.
and the
Well, they
modern day
don't represent
Christians and
Hamas.
the modern day Muslims,
Yeah,
they don't represent the people that started it. Yeah, cool. I get it.
yeah, he just started that. But I'm being very fair with him. With I don't like to talk ill of the dead. That this is a good behavior of mine. I don't want
Mm.
to talk ill of the dead. But Alistair Crowley did have a significant ill principle that he held to a high pedestal. Is when you have the truth, you should be confrontational.
Okay, okay, and that's why you
Yeah,
think he reminds you of Chris, and you think Chris is possibly
Chris. Yes,
okay.
reincarnation. Yes.
No, but I think confrontational is being good. It's just obviously you got to pick your battles. You got to pick your battles. You're not going to be. I'm sure he wasn't confrontational with everyone. I'm sure he was just confrontational
Yeah,
when it
that's true.
needed to be. So it's you got to pick your battles. And at sometimes, like yesterday with the Chris situation, I was a bit confrontational with him, but that was just because I needed him to reflect. I needed him to see how he was behaving because he wasn't seeing it when we were telling him that look, you need to calm down, you need to stop talking over people, and he was like, "Well, I'm never gonna change. Only God can make me change." And he was saying all of this. So at that point, I had to be a bit confrontational back to him, so he can actually step
Okay.
back and reflect. So I think confrontation isn't a bad thing in its essence, as long as it's done with discernment.
Okay. Discernment. I had to note that down.
Yes,
I
discernment
see.
is just thinking.
So
Just
thinking,
yeah. So
pondering. You mean? Okay.
not just pondering. Is like I said,
Mhm.
once you if you're serious about this path that you want to take about spirituality, you have to go down the truth, love, compassion, contentment, humility, and hope path, because from there, and I'm only talking about this from experience. From that, I learned everything I needed to learn. Obviously, there's more I can learn still, and that's why I'm going to continue down that truth, love, compassion, contentment, humility path and hope. But it's just that it teaches you about discernment as well, especially where like the example thing he gave earlier about him having that pizza guy who came over
Yes.
and he was angry at the
Physical.
pizza
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
It's only through discernment that you can, and the experience of having these things happen, that you can actually end up overcoming it quickly and knowing when it's good to speak up and when it's good to show kindness.
Kindness. Okay. Okay. I see. Um.
So
What?
you used to be a Thelemite, or you were never a Thelemite?
I never was a Selamite. Well, technically, yeah, I never was. I never got involved with this.
Mm.
These are people who I used to go to school, high school. They were in it.
Oh, okay.
Um, Yeah, they were in it. They talked about this during lunchtime. They actually like they they were one of the friendliest people I met. Yes, they want you to think about it. Some of them were Indians. They were ex-Hindus.
Mm,
Yeah, some were ex-Muslims. They were highly articulate. You see,
mm,
that's how got me interested. Yeah. But dilemma is a big iceberg to dig in. So it's unfair for me to generalize a judge based on such a short time.
mm,
Like um, I think it does dilemma a disservice if you judge it as like it's Luciferianism. Some people like to play the centrist game of calling it Luciferianism, light
mm,
bringing religion. I disagree. I think dilemma is a compositional religion. I think it's the one of the biggest, in my opinion, biggest anthropological, esoteric white school religion that's Aleister Crowley claims to. I do think it's liberating in a way.
mm.
However, the liberation comes at a massive cost. And I think the liberation cost is that it's pure alienation of the individual from society, from what the love, because in Thelema they have a concept, core doctrine within Thelema that is not dogmatic, called um, "Love is the Law, Love Under Will," and
So
they
what's the second
codify
part?
this.
Love,
Sorry,
love is the
love.
law
Yeah, second part is love under will.
under the will. Okay, cool.
Yeah, under the will,
Mm,
under the will. So the will is how you define it. Everybody define will,
mm,
willpower or will. It's
mm,
not talking about directly willpower, but it's about a multifaceted spiritual experience, from magic to hermeticism to some astral projection or meditation, some Buddhist Zen thinking.
mm,
That and yeah, um, yeah. So I don't like to say. Some people claim that Aleister Crowley wanted to be guru.
mm.
Looking at his writings, I don't think he wanted to be a guru, but he definitely wanted to be a prophet. He wanted to prophesize the future.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and and I think his confrontational nature kind of added to the credit of him trying to be a prophet.
Mm,
But the problem with his analogy is that he he completely neglects a lot of human needs. He claimed that materialists are like that a person who is a pious Thelemite can be a person without good lodgings, without food, can be a massive devotee to Luit. So Luit and Hada, these are like Egyptian terms. Luit is like the sky mother.
mm,
Um, there's Hada and Hadith. Hadith is like a man, like
mm.
Hada is like the in between, I think. So they have
Okay.
like a triune understanding of divine truth.
Mm.
I think Hada is much more closer to the concept of Sophia in Gnosticism.
Yes,
Uh,
that's what I was kind
yeah,
of getting the gist of, and it sounds like it's basically you have the light, you have the dark, you have the
yeah.
male, the female, and then you got the one in the
Yes,
middle,
yes.
which is the
Correct.
balance of the two.
Yeah, balance of two.
Mm.
And Aleister Crowley claimed to strive for the balance in
Mhm.
the middle. Um,
Do you know what
he
you're saying that Chris sounds like Aleister Crowley, but some of the things you're saying is like some of the things I've said about the balance in life and stuff like that. I'm like, oh shit, I hope I'm not Aleister Crowley.
you know Aleister Crowley, of course. The thing is, Aleister Crowley takes these
Well,
principles
not that he's a
from,
bad guy. I don't know him, but carry on.
yeah, you know, yeah. Um, in a way that we do share a bit of Aleister Crowley to an extent, because he was like how his life was like an amalgamation of legend, really, like
Hmm.
a 20th century legend. Oh, sorry, no.
Oh, we lost Geisha for a second. Yeah, so we're talking about Aleister Crowley and his religion called thelemaism, which I've never. Well, I think Geisha's mentioned it previously, but I've never really researched myself. I've never really looked into Aleister Crowley. I just know Aleister Crowley from the Ozzy Osbourne song. That is literally the only place I heard Aleister Crowley back in the day until Geisha mentioned it to me. But it's an interesting fella. He seems like an interesting fella. But hopefully we learn a little bit more. But otherwise, I am going to be ending this stream at 10 p.m. on the dot. 10 p.m. on the
10
dot. So
p.m. on the
16
dot.
minutes. Geisha.
Yeah, no worries. I'm happy to end in 5 minutes.
Yeah, perfect. You can carry on.
Quite late. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So, what's the significance of him? It's nothing to do with useless talk. The reason is it's not because I want to be him or the figure. It's trying to learn lessons from these influential figures. I learned from Abraham Lincoln some of the stories where when he was a cashier boy,
Mm-hmm.
that there was a customer who forgot his money change. So reportedly, he went after the customer who was already on the carriage. He went by foot, chasing the carriage to get back the change to back to the customer, which I thought this is diligent dedication.
Yes,
And
for
I
sure.
always try to strive for dedication because I
And
I
honesty.
personally,
And
yeah,
honesty,
I
yeah.
honestly, yeah, and not to twist the truth, but even so, I like to exaggerate the truth at points in time,
It depends
and
if it's good for the storytelling, because
okay,
life is about
storytelling.
stories, so you got to enjoy the storytelling a bit, as long as
Oh
it
yeah, that,
doesn't distort reality.
yeah, and I wanted to mention that people say we don't have time for listening to people's life stories.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be practical. We have to be doing things like get the food on the table
Mm-hmm.
and all that. These are, of course, very important thing. But what are the mechanics behind it that leads it to it? I'm just analyzing the mechanics. I'm not analyzing the aesthetics or the needs or wants.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking essence in like because I need it, I'm going to do it. I think this kind of mentality puts individuals at the conundrum where you procrastinate over things. You
Mm-hmm.
like, I said, I need to do this, but I just want to watch this YouTube video or
Mm-hmm.
listen to this podcast or listen to music, and then you're
Distracting
two
yourself.
hours later, yeah,
Yeah,
distracting
yeah.
yourself, yeah, and yeah, and I think that I think that having I used to be a theorist. My friends used to joke, I'm a theorist. I don't put any actions, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm passive.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back, right? So everyone have their own highway, own journey where
Mm-hmm.
in life, and they can come into conflict of interest, and that's where I believe that the friction comes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end of the day, it's about duty. Be responsible to my own actions or your own actions.
Mm-hmm.
And and on my journey of discovery, I've been trying to keep my duty within check so that I don't go off a tangent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
if
That's what-
we were to use your highway analogy, you can drive off the highway and just fly off and crash somewhere without thinking, or you could end up, like you said, with the friction, you could end up banging into the other cars, and then you slow them down and they slow you down. But instead of doing either of those two, you just stay in your lane and you stay focused on getting to your destination. I'm just summing up what you said.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a perfect summary. Yeah, that's much easier to remember now. Um, I would say that like reflecting back on what Damien has said. Yeah. Did he mention that? Did he? Did, sorry, I'm trying to remember what Damien said. You mentioned that he was angry at the pizza person, right?
Yes, yeah.
And then he mentioned that he reflected on it and he tried to correct it. He mentioned he gave change
Mhm.
to the extra change
Tip,
to the
yeah,
pizza
yeah.
person, right? Okay. That's like remediation in a way, right?
Yes, I think I know what. Let me just Google what remediation means. 1 second. I just want to make sure I give the right answer. Well, the answer I think. Remediation. Remediation. Yeah, fine. The action of remedying something, in particular, reversing or stopping environmental damage. Yes. Yeah. So, in a way, yes. So it stopped the environmental damage within himself, where he wouldn't sit there and, because he said last time something bad happened with his pizza, he was sitting there for 3 days, stewing on it and being angry about it. So he remediated it within himself, and he kind of tried to remediate it within the guy he gave the tip to. He still gave the tip, even though it wasn't great service, and hopefully the delivery guy walks away and he kind of reflects a little bit. He might not. We don't have control over him, but he's done what he can do at the time.
I see. Okay, I see. So in a way, being try to be proactive and not reactive. Right.
Yes. Being proactive is very good, because reactive is good too, but it's time and place. Using the discernment. It's like I said with the confrontational. Sometimes you got to be confrontational. Sometimes you got to be a bit loving. It's everything in life. You got to have a bit of discernment, and the discernment comes with, from my experience, truth, love, compassion, contentment, humility, and hope. Trying to be in that state constantly while people are talking shit to you, or they're trying to hurt you or whatever, or giving you bad service, and you're still staying in that positive mindset. It builds that character. It builds that resilience within yourself, that you then are more understanding of when it's appropriate to be reactive to proactive, and when it's good to be confrontational as opposed to loving.
Okay. It depends on the circumstances,
Yes, exactly.
right?
Each individual circumstance is always going to be different to another. So you have to understand that just because you experience one thing one time doesn't mean it's exactly the same thing the next time. It could be something different. It might be something similar, but obviously you have to learn to navigate these things, and it's a tough journey. It's a tough journey. It's not easy. Like I said, I've been doing this since I was a kid. I've been trying to,
Kid.
yeah, since I was as early as I can remember. I've tried to do this, and it's been a struggle. But obviously, I'm a slow learner. I'm sure that you and other people could get there a lot quicker than I did. But it just takes that perseverance.
Right. Thank you, Damon, and I have to get going. But
No,
it
no, no.
was
It's perfect timing. Perfect timing. Thank you, Geisha, for coming up and
yeah.
having a chat with me and keeping me company. I appreciate you, buddy.
Okay.
Have a good
Take
night.
care.
Take it.
Bye.
Bye. Alrighty. That was interesting conversation. We've got a couple more votes in the poll. Can you spot a fake messiah? We've got 2 people saying yes and 2 people saying no. You still can't spot a fake messiah? Seriously? Alright. Let's end that poll. If you are one of the people that said no, you don't know how to spot a fake messiah, tell me what you think a real messiah would be, and then I'll try and I'm only going to be streaming for another 5 minutes, so if you want, drop a quick comment, tell me what you think a real messiah would be like, and I'll see if I can understand. And because obviously everything I say on this channel is my perspective, it's my own personal perspective. It's not the only 100% truth I talk about. Is truth, love, compassion, contentment, humility, hope, and the choice, the free will that everyone has. That's the only absolutes. Everything else I usually say is usually some kind of form of me trying to understand the world from my personal perspective. Everyone's got their own personal perspective, so we may not always agree, but it's good to have the conversation, you know? Understand different people, understand different views. So yeah, if you've got an idea of what you think a Messiah would be, I'll give my opinion as to why that may or may not be. I could just give you mine, but I don't want you to just take what I say and then apply that in your life when I could be wrong. I'd rather hear what you got to say too. No comments at the moment. All right, you've got another 2 minutes to drop a comment if you want to. If not, like I said, this stream is ending at 10 and there's going to be a 3-minute song at the end. So I am getting off at 21:57. 21:57, guys. 21:57. So speak now or forever hold your peace. Do you know what I said? That I must have. I think I told you guys actually. For those who are hardcore watchers and watch every single stream I do and remember everything I say. A couple of months back when I was, well, more than a couple of months back, but when I was working on the coaches, it was one of my favorite lines. It would be, if anyone needs to go to the toilet, go now or forever hold your piss. Just because it would be a 2-hour drive and then someone would always end up going, oh, can we pull over for a toilet break? I don't mind. But then everyone else would complain. Everyone else would be like, oh no, but we were supposed to get back at this time. I've got plans tonight, blah, blah, blah. So I'd always try and give them a heads up. I'd like, go for a toilet break now if you need to before we start on the journey. And then that way you guys can all get home on time and do what you need to do. Alrighty, so no further comments on the fake Messiah or the real Messiah. So I'll give you my personal thing since I only kind of highlighted I only highlighted a little bit of the fake Messiah stuff. I mentioned things like I can't even remember what I mentioned. I mentioned something. But from my perspective, a fake Messiah would be someone who is not got the fruits. You know, you got to have the fruits. It would be someone who is got a clear agenda that isn't actually uniting people or trying to create peace, you know? Don't get me wrong, I don't always, not that I'm a Messiah, not that I always create peace. There's situations where, you know what, chaos happens. It happens. So, I don't know, maybe I guess I wouldn't add that, because I guess even Jesus created chaos. So yeah, maybe that's not a good example. But yeah, let's see. Messiah. I think the fake one would be arrogant, prideful. Or maybe the real one would be. I don't know. This is a tough question. I know I posed the question, but I was hoping we'd have more of a discussion about it. But yeah, the Messiah could be any way or which way he wants, I guess. Because Jesus comes back. Some people say Jesus comes back with to divide the people. The wheat and the tares. So some aspects of him show him as a person who divides people. Then they also say that he comes back and brings peace and unites people. And then they also say that he comes back and, what else does he cast judgment? So at that point, he's showing that he's got dominion over everyone else's. You know what I mean? So there's different levels to this, I guess. Maybe there's multiple messiahs. Who knows? But I don't know. I can't think of anything else at the top of my head at the moment. But maybe we'll do another stream one day. And we'll discuss the fake messiahs compared to the real messiahs and whether even messiah is a real thing. Or whether it's just all our own individual opportunity to help change the world. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I appreciate you joining me. Subscribe if you're new here. Hit the like button if you enjoy the content. And I shall see you when I see you next. Good night, good evening. I am the dust at the feet of God's servants. Only God is special. Peace out.
Yeah, I've been through the shadows, walked in the night, seen the world get heavy, try to crush my light. The hope keeps burning deep in my soul, a flame that won't fade, yeah, it keeps me whole. When life gets rough and the clouds roll in, hope is the anchor that pulls me again. In the darkest of times, when all seems lost, hope breaks through no matter the cost. Hope never dies, it shines through the pain, through every storm, every drop of rain. When the world goes dim and I'm down to my knees, hope lifts me up, sets my spirit free. They say light can't shine without a little dark. Hope's that spark, yeah, it ignites the heart. When the path ain't clear and the road feels long, hope gives me strength, makes me strong. I've seen despair try to steal my fight, but hope keeps pushing like day through night. It's a voice in my head saying keep going strong, tells me I'm right where I belong. Hope never dies, it shines through the pain, through every storm, every drop of rain. When the world goes dim and I'm down to my knees, hope lifts me up, sets my spirit free. Hope's like the sun after endless rain. It's a light that heals, it's a balm for pain. It don't fade, don't break, don't bend. It's the beat of my heart, my forever friend. So when I'm lost, I look to the sky. Hope's in the stars, it's the reason why. Why I stand, why I rise, why I keep on fighting. Hope's my armor when the world starts biting. It whispers, hold on, don't give up yet. Through every tear, through every regret, hope's the fire that never goes out. Through every struggle, every doubt, hope never dies, it shines through the pain, through every storm, every drop of rain. When the world goes dim and I'm down to my knees, hope lifts me up, sets my spirit free. Hope's like the sun after endless rain. It's a light that heals, it's a balm for pain. It don't fade, don't break, don't bend. It's the beat of my heart, my forever friend. So when I'm lost, I look to the sky. Hope's in the stars, it's the reason why. Why I stand, why I rise, why I keep on fighting. Hope's my armor when the world starts biting. It whispers, hold on,